wants craft beer? Saturday, August 21st, the Mountaineer Brewfest is back at Wheeling Heritage Port, showcasing craft beers from West Virginia's finest brewers. With great food, live entertainment, and many more craft beer selections in our beer garden, it's a wild and wonderful time, and you don't want to miss out. Proceeds benefit a Special Wish Foundation. Get your tickets now at mountaineerbrewfest.com. Brought to you by Wheeling Island Hotel, Casino, Racetrack, and the UPS.
Are you or your loved ones facing a serious legal battle? The law office of Paul Harris wants you to know you aren't alone. Do you need someone that's not afraid to go to trial and fight for your rights? Attorney Paul Harris and his team are willing to go where most firms are not. The courtroom. With a successful track record in civil litigation, criminal defense, including tax issues and healthcare fraud, Harris Law Office will fight for their clients by offering the most aggressive representation in and out of court. Call Paul Harris at Harris Law Office for a free consultation. 304-232-5300.
Hello, everyone. From the Watchdog, I'm the Storm Tracker, Darnell Foster. With a look at your local weather forecast for your start to the work week. Mix of sun and clouds with scattered showers and storms possibly. A daytime high near 75. Scattered showers through the evening, the overnight. Temperatures down to about 68 for the low. Chance for showers and storms for your Tuesday. Otherwise, times of clouds and sunshine, with temperatures in the mid to upper 70s. Have yourself a great day, everyone. From the Watchdog, I'm Darnell Foster.
The views and opinions expressed on the following program are not necessarily those of this station or its sponsors.
The following program is brought to you in living color on NBC.
Now it's time for Bill DeFabio on AM 1600 WKKX, The Watchdog.
Skin. Run, but you sure can't hide. And I bought all a tooth for a tooth, vote for me, and I'll set you free. Rap on, brother, rap on me. Well, the only person talking about love now, brother, is the preacher. And it seems nobody's interested in learning but the teacher. Segregation, determination, demonstration, integration, aggravation, humiliation, obligation to our nation. That's what the world is today. The sales appeals are at an all-time high. Young folks walking around with their heads in the sky. Cities afraid in the summertime. No.
Well, it's a dreary day out there. And I look at some of the things to talk about in the past, dreary things. The first and only Major League Baseball player to get hit with a pitch and die. May as well discuss death. I worked at a lot of radio stations where my sports reports followed the obituaries update. Hey, and it usually is about 15 minutes after 12. Here we go. So in a span of 72 hours, I lose two really good friends and a producer. Joe Moore, yeah, he was a Pitt coach, a Steelers coach, but for our Notre Dame fans out there, he was on the coaching staff with Lou Holtz in 1988 when the Fighting Irish won a national championship. Now after that, Smokin' Joe, and that's what we called him, even in his teens, Smokin' Joe was fired. He filed a discrimination lawsuit against Notre Dame. Guess he got a good lawyer. He won. Joe passed away Friday, I believe, at the age of 71. Way too young. And then there's a story of Joe Walton. I'm going to save Joe for John Perotto, who grew up in the same area as Joe Walton, Beaver Falls, Pennsylvania. Joe who, you said? He, too, was a Steelers coach, quarterbacks coach, but he was also the head coach in New York. He was liked because he won a few games, and then we started losing a few games, typical Newspaper writers, broadcasters, and fans ripped him a you-know-what. Joe passed away Sunday at 85. And then there's my friend Greg. On one of my Pittsburgh outlets, I worked with Greg for 4 years. Greg had a lot of health issues, primarily diabetes, asthma, you name it, he had it. And he took a leave a couple years ago. I ended up working with another Greg. But Greg, number one, he was on a leave. He left all right. He passed away Sunday morning, 49. Yeah. So I'll talk about happy news. Lola, did you have a good weekend?
Yeah, it was wonderful. It was a blues fest.
Yeah. What was the highlight? You probably never wanted it to end, right?
Yeah, that's true. I mean, the highlight was running for our lives on Friday when the storms broke. Got literally soaked to the skin. And, you know, had to go home and dry our clothes. Saturday was a beautiful day. And yesterday it was cloudy, but it was, you know, it was warm, but it was just cloudy. But it was really good, really, really good. And seeing some, you know, friends of mine on the second stage was really great.
Yeah, okay. I bet you drank well and ate well.
Yeah, we did that. We did that.
All right.
Had all of our favorite truck foods and discovered a new one. It's a hibachi truck.
Ooh.
And that was really very good too. Very interesting. It was good. And of course, you know, Ideal Provisions is they're good friends of ours, and so you know, we ate their food, and yeah, it was good.
All right.
Saw a lot of people.
Okay. Yeah, I was worried about the weather there over the weekend. We had one game rained out, the Pony League World Series. The Washington team had to wait because the two teams that played before them played 10 innings. And there were 2 delays, one with lightning and one with rain. So that was like a 5-hour ball game, and Washington didn't get to play Friday until real late. So, and they won in an elimination game. So, you know, they might win 2 games. You know, it's double elimination, and I think they play Youngstown tonight, a team that they should have won. They had a lead, and then Youngstown scored like 7 runs in, the 4th inning to beat them. So, you know, it's we got to get back at these guys. Washington has 2 really good pitchers. And, you know, Washington can go a long way because you don't have some of the great teams there. You know, Puerto Rico, Japanese teams, there's like 2 good ones, a ton of good Chinese teams. So they have a chance to maybe advance. I'd like to see them make it to the finals. Okay, how about that? That hasn't been done in, I think, 35 years. And the last time the Washington team won a Pony League World Series back in 1955. So, and the crowds have been great, you know. I saw some video this morning about the outfield and everything. It looks like PNC Park with all the billboards. Yeah, if I'm a sponsor, and you know these games are going to be televised, they're going to be streamed, a lot of people are going to watch and listen, I'd want to advertise, you know. You might not get the impact of the Little League World Series, but the Pony League World Series is attractive, okay? And it's kids having fun, and all these kids have fun. And if you win, it's even more fun, okay? John Wayner coming up at 12:35. John Parado at 1:05. John will talk about our good friend, Joe Walton. Ray Fittipaldo will give us an update, and I got to ask him about Joe Schobert. I mean, everybody I listen to, watch, oh boy, he's a Hall of Famer. I know he's good, but we'll see. And they got him from Jacksonville for a 6th-round pick. Tim Neverett, the voice of the Los Angeles Dodgers, former voice of the Pittsburgh Pirates, will join me. He's promoting a book, and I wrote the book down, and I don't know where I put it because I got too many notes again. COVID Championship, how the LA Dodgers in 2020 won a championship during COVID. And I think the book will be released August 31st. But Tim's always a good guy. The timing's good because the Dodgers host the slumping Pirates, who lost 2 out of 3 this weekend to Milwaukee. And they are what? Oh, boy. Is it the worst? 42 and 76. That's not as bad as Arizona. Oh, boy, they suck, too. 38 and 81. Who's going to be the first team to lose 100 games this year? Oops, I haven't looked at the American League. Oh, it's going to be Baltimore. No. Baltimore has 78 losses compared to Arizona. Biff's a big Baltimore Orioles fan. I wonder when was the last time he paid attention to the Orioles. 38-78. And Texas, they were supposed to do well this year, 42-76. Ooh, yeah. Oh, let's take a break, Lola. Can we do that? Yeah. And when we come back, we're going to replay a song Friday. Have you heard this song, Lola? Okay, tell me if you like it, because I think it's great. All right? We're going to come back and talk to Lola and play a special song. The artist, I don't know how they did it because he'd be about 150 years old, did a great song in the early 60s called the Monster Mash. This is called the COVID Mash, or the COVID Mask, okay? I think you'll enjoy it. Comedy for a couple of hours on a dreary day in the Ohio Valley.
Hi, Toppy Kirchville. Join me weekdays at 10 o'clock for Talk Line. We'll talk about the big stories affecting us in West Virginia, top political figures, sports personalities, sometimes just plain folks offering their opinions on what's happening today. 10 till noon, right after the Watchdog Morning Show with Howard.
Millions plan for retirement online. Estimate your future benefits, apply for retirement, and manage your benefits all from the comfort of your home. And give yourself the freedom to do what you want offline. Social Security's online services help put you in control with secure access to your information anytime, anywhere, allowing you to spend more time with family, friends, or simply just enjoying the day. Social Security, securing today and tomorrow. See what you can do online at socialsecurity.gov.
CA House Music has all the gear to make your music legendary. With all the best gear, including Fender, Epiphone, Yamaha, and more, CA House will have you rocking in no time. Get the most for your money with everyday low prices. And we meet or beat internet pricing. Play before you buy and let our product specialists help you pick out the instrument that's right for you. CA House Music, supporting local musicians since 1872. Play music for life.
Over the years, you've brought opioids into your home. They helped when you were in pain, and you held on to them just in case. But holding on to opioids puts your family at risk. Learn more at www.fda.gov/drug disposal.
You're never too far from the most local programming in the Ohio Valley. Find us here. AM 1600 and 1370. FM 98.1 and 97.7. We are the Watchdog. The Watchdog.
When my co-workers all began to freak, they started cursing and began to shout, and said quite rudely as the boss threw me out, "You need a mask." "I need a COVID mask." "A COVID mask." It seemed a lot to ask. "To wear a mask." "To do a simple task." "Put on a mask." "I need a COVID mask." Made it mandatory almost every place, that we can't be seen unless we hide our face. I can't even leave my humble abode without something covering my mouth and nose. We need a mask. We need a COVID mask. A COVID mask. It seems a lot to ask. To wear a mask. Can't even mow my grass without a mask. Without a COVID mask, this mask wearing isn't fun, and the snitching has now begun. My neighbor called the hotline, 'cause my dog wasn't wearing one. Walking through the mall, a woman's voice did ring. Seemed she was troubled by just one thing. She pointed to the door, shook her fist, and said,
"What are you trying to do, you jerk? Make everybody sick?"
"Forgot his mask. Forgot my COVID mask. His COVID mask. Nobody gets a pass. That stupid mask. Can't even pump my gas. Without a mask. Without a COVID mask. Honey, I'm home.
What do you want?
I need to come in and get my mask.
Don't let Daddy in the house, Mommy. He's not wearing his mask.
No mask, no entry. Sorry.
But, honey...
You should have taken it with you. You're not getting in this house. I changed the lock.
I think that's a little bit better than the Monster Mash. The Monster Mash was about monsters and stuff. This is about COVID. Did you like that, Lola?
Yeah,
Pretty cool. Pretty cool stuff.
Pretty accurate.
Pretty good, cool stuff. So I get the call like Thursday night from somebody in the media I don't particularly care for, but he calls me Bill the oldie one. He says, "You remember the Monster Mash, don't you?" And I said, "Man, I haven't heard from you like in 10 years. He said, "Get on your cell phone or your computer and get COVID Mask, whatever, by Bobby Pickett." I'm thinking, he's dead. Should be dead. When he recorded the song, he was in his 30s, back in the 60s. And I listened to it, I goes, oh, I got to put this on the air for people that haven't heard it. It's just cool. Guy couldn't get into his own house. Doesn't he have a key? I'd go through the door. All right, so that's a little fun for the day. How about the no-hitter the kid threw over the weekend, Lola? His very first major league start, and he throws a no-hitter. That's good stuff. And they showed his father, who I wouldn't want to mess with, looked like he was a bouncer in one of the local bars. He was just jumping for joy. He was jumping for joy so much, he fell down in his seat. And a group of people held him up, and they were hugging. It was so good. A couple of guys built like him looked like they were bouncers, tears flowing from their eyes. And the bench went crazy for this kid. He was only like the fourth one to ever do this in baseball. Think about that. Your very first start in Major League Baseball. I'm sure you're nervous. You know, you want to prove that you belong in the big leagues, and you throw a no-hitter. And then the kid in Cleveland, was it yesterday? I got to look it up again.
Yep.
Yep. He had a no-hitter going. All right?
Yep.
And
Thanks to Castro, we broke that up.
yeah. Okay. Who's that against? Detroit?
Yep.
Oh. Yeah, I was
Cleveland took 2 out of 3.
All right. Yeah, I was watching them. All the fans of Detroit were cheering. I didn't know they were cheering the guy. You know, I've been to a lot of Pirate games where the opposing player, like, might have had, I want him to pitch a no-hitter. I want to tell people I've seen a no-hitter, which I have, but not in the major leagues. I saw a perfect game in softball. I think the game took about an hour and 5 minutes, and the girl only threw a few pitches, you know. And I was in one in college. Matter of fact, everybody was ready to kill me because they stuck me. I was a good hitter, a DH. So they stuck me late in the game in right field. No one's going to hit the ball to DeFabio because he might drop it. Well, what happened? The last out to save Tommy Cannell's no-hitter, a short fly ball to me. And I'm running like a bat out of hell. And I just happened to stick the glove out, and the ball went in it. If I would have dropped it, I would have turned around and ran through the fence because a couple guys would have killed me. All right, and I got to sign the ball, too. And Tommy Cannell's, and we got our picture in the paper in the Boston Globe, too, a no-hitter. So that was cool stuff. Cool stuff. I've seen a lot of them on TV, but that was really good. I want to go over the oldies calendar because there's a lot of baseball news in it with John Wayner, who's coming up at 12:25. We're not going to talk a whole lot about the Pirates because there's not much you can say other than maybe they'll win a game in Los Angeles. I don't know. The one game against Milwaukee, they look like the real deal. But you know, I have found out, you out there have found out, Lola knows, it's hard to sweep a team 3 in a row or 4 in a row, you know? It's just hard to do. You take 2 out of 3, that's a good series. You take 3 out of 3, it's a great series. In some cases, with rain delays, if you take 4 out of 4, boy, you had a great 4-game series. So, but Milwaukee, I think, they got one of the best records in baseball. Now, that's a small market team, am I correct? Yes, Bill, you are. But yet they went out and got some good players. They got about 5 All-Stars on their team, and they're 72-47, second best record in the National League. Over in the American League, they would have the best record. That other small market team, Tampa Bay, believe it or not, believe it because I'm going to tell you, small market Tampa Bay, 71-47. Yeah. Goes to show you small market teams like to win now. Not wait till we're going to rebuild. We're going to retool. Be patient, season ticket holders. Spend the big bucks with us until we get good. Well, I've been hearing that for, 20 years here? But that's all right. That's okay. All right, that's about it. What is my notes I wanted to ask you about, Lola? Did you hear about the Honus Wagner card?
No.
A great pirate. He was the first inductee in the very first Hall of Fame in Cooperstown. Maybe one of the greatest second basemen of all time. I'm sure some people who never heard of him will argue with me, but we'll save that argument for a good time. There are about 40 more of these cards out there. But this one is mint condition, PSA 10, which means it's like a perfect 10. So it must have been hiding behind some glass or something all these years. It's 110 years old. The card sold for $6.6 million. Is that unbelievable?
Yep, it is.
That is just
People with more dollars than
unbelievable.
cents.
You know? I think the oldest card I have is a Michael Jordan card. And it's signed, and I shouldn't have got it signed because it's been worth more money not signed. I never could understand that, but I'm not in the business of buying and selling cards, you know? Plus, I think you got to BS a little bit when you're selling these things. But it's worth about $200. I should get rid of it, too. But think about that, $6.6 million. That is just unbelievable. And I think is it the highest paid? Where's the story here? I think it's the highest paid. Before that was another Honus Wagner card, a little bit older, and it went for like $4.8 million. That's just, you know how many people I could feed, Lola, with $6 million?
Quite a few, quite a few.
I would send your butt to anywhere you want to go in the world. Anywhere. Where would you go? If I had $6 million and I'd give you whatever you need to travel, buy a house, buy a yacht, buy houses for each of your pets, where would you go? Florida?
No.
Okay.
No.
You wouldn't go to Colorado, would you?
No.
Because of the winter?
Somebody said Tucson would be really.
Oh, yeah. That's beautiful out there. Scottsdale. Right now, I'm eligible for Scottsdale because if you're over 60, you can drive 10 miles an hour on the highway. Nobody will say anything because everybody's like you. You drive real slow because you can. Where are you going to go? The antique store. Maybe I'll go golfing. Well, I have to go miniature golfing because I suck at regular golf. Yeah, that's probably where I would go. Or I would buy Italy. 6 million might buy the country of Italy. Lola, you could buy Wheeling.
No thanks.
Oh, okay. All right. Just a thought. Just a thought. A lot of baseball news coming up. A lot of news on the Steelers. Tim Neverett promoting his new book, which is cool. Comes out August 31st. Tim's a good guy. Went to Emerson College, which was right down the street from where I went to school. And we at BU crushed those guys back in the 70s. They just started baseball, so I got to give them credit. But we just crushed them. Emerson was like a great school for communications, okay? But unlike BU, you didn't practice in studios and stuff. We had 11 radio studios, 3 TV studios. I spent all this money buying books, and I hardly ever used the books. Then I turn them in and get $10, $15, where some of them cost $60, $70. Books today are like $300 or $400. Do they use them? I don't know. I couldn't go back to BU today, not at $62,000 a year. I'd have to sell drugs or rob banks. Oh, I shouldn't say that. I would have to hit the lottery, okay? All right, let's take a break, and we'll be back with John Wayner, one of the radio voices of the Pittsburgh Pirates.
The Metro News Update is brought to you by Thomas Auto Centers, Mall Road, St. Clairsville. Get the best deal at Thomas Auto Centers.
West Virginia Metro News. I'm Chris Lawrence. At CAMC in Charleston, the number of COVID patients continues to rise. Dr. Fred Kern appeared on a recent edition of Metro News Talkline, sharing what he is seeing amid those who are infected.
A younger population, a unvaccinated population, a population that's often done something, major wedding, concert, something that put them in an environment where they had a lot of exposure.
Governor Jim Justice providing an update on the COVID response in his briefing this hour. You can watch it live at WVMetroNews.com. West Virginia is among the first states to get the COVID booster shot. The Kanawha Charleston Health Department reopened its free COVID vaccination and testing clinic over the weekend to administer that third shot to those who have compromised immune systems. A Sunday fire in Taylor County has left a man injured. Authorities say that victim drove himself to the hospital for treatment. The blaze occurred about 2:45 Sunday afternoon at a home on Shelby Run Road in Grafton. An investigation into what caused the fire is underway. In Berkeley County, a Maryland man has now admitted to a federal drug charge in Martinsburg Federal Court. 44-year-old Antonio Darden, who's from Morgansville, Maryland, pleaded guilty to possession with intent to distribute cocaine hydrochloride and now faces up to 20 years in federal prison. You're listening to Metro News, the voice of West Virginia. Tamarack is reopening services in its restaurant today. Dining was shut down last week when a worker in the shop was diagnosed with COVID. Officials say since then the kitchen has been completely cleaned and sanitized for the safety of patrons. Water service has been restored at the North Central Regional Jail in Doddridge County. A broken water line servicing the lockup forced them to shut down last week. Inmates were provided with bottled water, while a portable water tank was set up for service of the jail's food service area. From the Metro News Anchor Desk, I'm Chris Lawrence.
For all of your IT needs, visit OmniPerforms.com. Omni Strategic Technologies, the only IT company that the watchdog trusts.
Toyota's national sales event is happening now with savings and reliability you can count on. So check out an adventure-ready gas model RAV4 with up to $750 cash back, or a stylish 22 Corolla with up to $500 cash back, or go with a sporty Camry with up to $1,000 cash back. Visit buyatoyota.com and find a dealer near you. You can take cash back or apply to a down payment. Offers may vary for hybrid models. See your dealer for details. Offers end September 7th. Toyota, let's go places.
Welcome to the 54th National Tractor Pulling Championships Reloaded, the largest truck and tractor pull in the world with 11,000 reserved seats and 2,100 campsites. Watch pullers from across the world compete for the coveted NTPC Championship ring. Rich in history, home to hospitality. Experience the power of the pulls. August 19th, 20th, and 21st in Bowling Green, Ohio. Purchase your tickets today.
As the world gets back on track, now's the time to look forward and make bold, life-changing decisions. If you're ready to complete your college degree or pursue your master's like an MBA, Ohio Dominican University offers a range of innovative programs that match your goals. And with both fully online and on-campus evening formats available, pursuing your degree at ODU also fits your life. Classes are forming now. Get started at ohiodominican.edu. That's ohiodominican.edu.
Introducing our new redesigned 7 News app. Our new app features a sleek, modern design, an easy-to-navigate home screen with quick access to local news content and a localized weather forecast. Subscribing to notifications is easier, and with one tap, you have access to recent push notifications. There are more ways to watch and find video. To get the new WTRF 7 News app, just update the latest version or download the WTRF 7 News app in your Apple or Google Play Store by searching WTRF.
Now at Menards, save big money on your next outdoor project with 11% off everything. Transform your worn-out deck in one day with rock-solid deck resurfacer. The one-coat coverage, ultra-thick coating is specially designed for heavily worn decks and patios. Save 11% on all rock-solid deck resurfacers and everything else now at Menards. Good through August 21st. Savings or mail-in rebate. Some exclusions apply. See store for details.
Save big money at Menards.
This is Hoppy Kercheval. Join me weekdays at 10 o'clock right after the Watchdog Morning Show with Howard Monroe for Talk Line. I have guests, conversations, texts, phone calls on all the big stories affecting us in West Virginia. So tune in weekdays right here on FM 98.1 and FM 97.7, The Watchdog.
Why am I soft in the middle now? Why am I soft in the middle? The rest of my life is so hard. I need a photo opportunity. I want to shop redemption. Don't want to end up a cartoon in a cartoon graveyard. Bone liver, dogs in the moonlight. Far away, my well-lit room. Just a beer man, get these mutts away from me. I don't find this stuff amusing anymore. If you be my bodyguard, I can be your long lost pal. I can call you Daddy, Daddy when you call me, you can call me Al. A man walks down the street, he says, why am I short of attention? Got a short little span of attention, and all my nights are so long. Where's my wife and family? What if I die here? Who'll be my role model? Now that my role model is gone. Beat up back down the alley with some roly-poly little bat-faced girl. All along, there were incidents and accidents. There were hints and allegations. If you be my bodyguard, I can be your long-lost pal. I can call you Daddy, and Daddy when you call me.
That's one of my favorites, Lola. Thank you. That made my day. That is one of my favorites. Probably top 25, believe it or not. I just like the beat. If you watch the video, man, you got to watch it over and over again and be a part of it. By dancing in your living room. Don't do it in your car or whatever, but yeah, great song. Great song. All right. John Wayner's on the line. John, you're not in L.A., are you?
Yes, I am actually. My second trip in 2 years. I'm out in LA.
Wow. When you get there, take a look at the scoreboard, all right? Right for
Always.
Yeah. Starge will hit one over that into the parking lot behind you. I don't know if there's a parking lot there now, but
Yeah, it's pretty much the same. They have a couple plaques out there with his name on it, kind of with the date and the distance and all that stuff. Yeah, I remember that.
you remember Three River Stadium where they painted the seats up in the fifth tier where Captain Willie said goodbye, see you later?
Yep, I remember all that. Yep, and I think he hit 4, and I think who was it? Was it Lazinski or somebody hit on the left?
Boy, he could send a ball out of the stadium.
Yep.
Oh. And then, of course, Jim Rooker hit one way out of the stadium. Out of the stadium. You didn't know that, did you?
Rooker could hit.
Yeah.
Rooker could hit.
No, he hit a golf ball.
I know, I believe it. Yeah, that dude was he's a talented guy, Jim Rooker.
I got to ask you, who do you know at AT&T Sports who put together the video, local Pittsburghers who made it with the Pirates? Because you got more time, because I timed it. I do that. I don't know why. There was a feature on like number 10 through number 1, and the John Wayner video, you got more video time than Mazeroski and Grote. How did you arrange that?
I have no idea, but you believe me, maybe they just had more footage of me than.
Yeah, I was just going to say.
Because of TV, I didn't time it and I didn't realize it.
Yeah.
I did see that that's pretty good. They got some talented people over there. Jack Becker.
Oh yeah. I got tired of seeing Sean Casey's face. He was like,
I always kid those guys, Neil Walker and Casey. Yeah, they claim to be Pittsburgh guys. They lived in the suburbs. They're not Pittsburgh guys.
You're a Pittsburgh guy, right?
Yeah, I grew up in the city. I'm from the city. Yeah.
What part of the city?
Carrick.
Okay, you know who recently passed away that grew up in that area? Joe Moore. Did you know Joe?
I did not.
The Pitt coach? Notre Dame coach? Okay.
Yeah, I know of them. I don't
They
know.
named a trophy after him. He could coach the offensive line. Joe Moore, Offensive Lineman of the Year in college football.
How about that?
And there was one year Pitt sent the entire offensive line to the pros. Way back in the 70s when they would be, almost unbeaten. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Culver.
Fralick and May.
Mark May. Oh, man. That was an unbelievable team.
It was pretty amazing, yeah, Jackie Sherrill, because I always, I'm not a huge college football fan, but I mean, I used to ride my bike from Carrick to Oakland and watch games. I was close enough to get to Pitt Stadium and with Danny Marino and Dorsett and Rooster Jones and who was why am I thinking I'm forgetting
Hugh Green?
The linebacker, Hugh Green, yeah, and. It's pretty amazing because I think it's unfortunate when you look at Pitt that, it's going to be very hard for them to ever get to that level again because, they're not going to be able to compete with Ohio State and Michigan and Penn State and, and the whole Eastern Seaboard's going to go to, Clemson or Penn State or, the bigger schools. And so, they're kind of handcuffed as far as bringing in that top talent.
Listen, when I came here from Boston, I had the pleasure of first covering the 76 team that went all the way and won the championship, right? Not only was the press box empty, but the stadium, I think the only sellout was West Virginia and Penn State. That's because most of West Virginia was watching the game. They make that little short trip, and a lot of Penn State fans travel well. But other than that, you would think a team that was ranked second and number 1 for about 8 or 9 weeks would at least fill the stadium up. Didn't matter if you played Navy or Rutgers or Syracuse. You were top-ranked. Let's go watch a top-ranked team. But the problem with Pitt, even when they were great, really great, they got to compete for the entertainment dollar with the Penguins, the Pirates, the Steelers. You know what I mean? That's a tough. That's a tough chore.
Right. Yeah, I mean it was common. Like I said, I'd ride my bike over there and I could sit wherever I wanted. I mean, and again, I mentioned all the names, all the big names, all the future pro football guys that were on that team. I mean, they were loaded, and I'd go over there and park my bike and walk in and sit just about anywhere in the stadium.
Now, come on now. Carrick to Pitt Stadium, right? Is that what you said?
Yeah.
There's a lot of hills there. You made all the hills?
Oh yeah, you go down Beck's Run Road, go up Carson Street, cross the Birmingham Bridge, and you're up the hill. That was nothing. That's when you were a kid back then. Yeah, you had free reign to go wherever you wanted. And I mean, it was entertainment. What are you going to do?
Yeah, when I lived in Bentleyville, we were 4 miles away from a grocery store where I would buy my cards, baseball cards.
Is
Then
that
I got,
right?
yeah, and I was on my bicycle. It was the heaviest bike ever made. It was made out of like aluminum or whatever, thick tires. Little Billy, even at the young age, had a hard time. Then I noticed on my bicycle, there are a lot of pop bottles on the side road. So I started to walk from our farm, Ginger Hill, to, I think it was Vex grocery store where you buy baseball cards. And I had a bag with me. I would pick up maybe $2 worth of bottles. And back then, in the 50s, that would buy a lot of baseball cards, which I eventually threw up against the wall with my buddies and ruined a lot of cards. And the chewing gum was good, too, and you'd get 15 cards. It was like a nickel. Those wrappers today, John, those wrappers from the 50s, just the wrappers, are going for $300 and $400.
Oh, wow, that's crazy.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
yeah, I used to do. I was a bad kid, man. I don't even want to tell you the way I used to go and collect bottles and how I got my baseball cards. Man, I probably shouldn't have shared that. Give anybody any ideas?
No. Well, you heard about the Honus Wagner card that just sold, didn't you?
$6 million.
$6.6 million.
Oh, that's amazing. That's what I mean. And everybody keeps saying, wow, who would buy a card for blah, blah, blah. It's an investment. It just keeps turning over.
Yeah.
I mean, they're going to, they'll have it a year and they'll probably make $2 million for just holding on to a baseball card for 1 year.
Well, I'll have to tell you this on the air, John. You can't hit me because you're not coming to Wheeling to do that. I'll come and see you. You can hit me when I come and see you. I found a John Wayner card.
You did?
Mint condition. How much will you give me?
Oh, gosh. It's crazy, but this day and age, everybody can find you. And I get fan mail at my house, literally, dozens a month. I mean, it's crazy to me, like all the cards that are out there. I'm like, how many did they print?
Yeah.
The early 90s was the peak of that. That's why those cards.
Now the 70s and 80s are worth some money,
Yeah. So they flooded the market back then, and there must be a lot of cards out there because I didn't have many after '92. Like my last 7, 8, 9 years in the major leagues, I don't know if I had more than 1 or 2 cards made, and because they started to back off, and only the stars got cards. The regular guys got cards, but they come in. It's crazy to me how many I get in the mail.
I don't really want to talk about the Pirates unless it's something positive. I just would like to see maybe win 5 out of 6 one time. Go to L.A. and take 2 out of 3. I mean, they're still fun to watch, John, but it's tough. It's tough. It's tough when you look at the standings and they're 42 and 76. You know what I mean? And I'm still a Pirate fan.
Well, again, we're in the middle of a rebuild, and that we're just outmatched. We're outmanned. We don't have the firepower as other teams. We don't have the pitching. We don't have the lineup. And so, but the beautiful thing about baseball is this. Every game you have a chance. Every day you have a chance to win. And so you never know what's going to happen. It's the mighty Dodgers versus the Pirates, and Brault can go out there and pitch a gem, and you can knock off the Dodgers.
Yeah.
And that's just the beauty of the game, and that's why people keep watching. That's why we keep putting it on TV, and people listen to the radio because it's entertainment, and we're getting a lot of young talent that hopefully this thing will turn around sooner than later, maybe in the next year or two. But obviously this year we're taking our lumps, but we're getting to see some of this young talent. And any given day, it could be tonight, and tomorrow, who knows? But they're going to win some games. Obviously, they're losing more than they're winning. But every day it's a different show, and they have a chance to win.
Yeah, and and you never know because there's been 9 of them, 8 of them. Somebody might throw a no-hitter for Pittsburgh.
Yeah, I mean that's what I mean. It's that's the craziest thing. Baseball's a hard game. I think we try to remind people that it's hard for even the best, and there's times where they get good pitches to hit, they can't hit them, or you got a pitcher that has great stuff and they get hit. It's quirky like that. You see the Diamondbacks who I don't know if they have still the worst record in baseball, but they're pretty close to the bottom. And they have some guy come out of nowhere and throws a no-hitter, like you said, in his first start. It's an amazing game in that way. It's not like, we'll go back to college football. It's not like you can have Rutgers go into Clemson and beat Clemson. That's not going to happen. Or Alabama's not going to lose to Akron University. It's just not going to happen. But in baseball, any day you can win. You know what I mean? And that's the beauty of the game.
Well, I'm looking at the scoreboards here. Arizona does have the worst record in all of baseball, 38-81. But for at least one day when that kid pitched a no-hitter with his entire family, I think they took up a whole section, you could see teardrops in that the kid pitches a no-hitter. Then you had the kid from Cleveland almost had a no-hitter. And Lola was happy he didn't pitch a no-hitter against the Tigers because the Tigers came up with a couple of hits to spoil the no-no. So you never know. We'll probably have a couple of more no-hitters, which is really strange. What was it, the no-hitter? The kid pitched 5 innings, and he didn't get the no-hitter, but the game counted. Remember that?
Yeah, the perfect game.
Yeah, perfect game, but it doesn't go in the record books because it wasn't a complete game. But yet Major League Baseball, it was a victory. That made no sense at all. I would be upset. I don't know.
Well, that's a big difference between getting 15 outs and 27 outs. You know what
true.
I mean?
That's very true.
That's where I'll go. Because even Bumgarner, I think, had a 7-inning no-hitter, and he didn't get credit for it because, it was the 7-inning, the doubleheader thing, so it happens.
Hey, you want to go over the oldies calendar with me that involves 1, 2, 3 Pirates? You ready?
Let's go.
You won't find this on other stations because we do things different here. That's why we call it the variety show, John. And I still don't know why he gets all that video time, but that's okay. That's Wayner again. That's Wayner. How many times are you going to show that? And you got what, the last home run at Three Rivers, right?
That's right.
You have that ball?
Oh yeah, I got that ball. I could have collected like 3 or 4. I could have collected actually 4 balls from that game. I made the last Pirate error. I hit the last home run.
Yeah.
On defense, when we were on defense, the last come out in that game, I caught it was a ground ball to me, and I made the last out hitting. So yeah, that's 4 lasts.
Wow.
3 of them, 2 of them weren't. I'm not too proud of the error and the last out, but yeah, obviously the last home run was pretty crazy and amazing, just because I didn't hit many home runs, and it just, I even told Brownie before the game, I'm like, wouldn't that be crazy if I end up with the last home run or something?
Oh, yeah.
And sure enough, craziness.
Yeah, that was crazy. And then our buddy, I'm sure he's your friend too, Sean Casey hit the first home run at PNC Park as a member of the Reds. Then he came back a couple years later to play one more year. He said the most fun he had, and I'm going to mention your godfather's name, was playing for Jim Leland,
Yeah, absolutely. Leland, it's one of the best ever, if not the best ever. For me, I had a blast playing for him, and a great manager, great guy, and he took good care of me. He was my sponsor.
Yeah, to me, that's a no-brainer Hall of Fame. So let's not wait for Jim to pass away. Let's give it to him soon.
Ooh, yeah. I mean, he's getting in. There's no doubt. He's not going anywhere anytime soon.
And that's one guy that, even though he wore a Pirate uniform for a while, he also had some great years with Detroit. Lola's very fond of him. So, okay, here we go. Ralph Kiner on this date in 1947. Kiner hit 3 consecutive home runs to become the first Pittsburgh Pirate player ever to accomplish the feat as the Pittsburgh Pirates beat St. Louis 12-7. And, of course, Ralph had a very comical years in the broadcast booth, messing up names with the New York Mets broadcast. I used to get Channel 9, and I tell you what, every night he made mistake after mistake after mistake, but he was Ralph Kiner, and he was funny. But he was also a good player, one of the best ever for the Pittsburgh Pirates.
Yeah, he was, and incredible power, incredible career, and he had a great career in broadcasting. Yep. He had the Kiner's Corner, and think about that for a second, because I'm by no way perfect, and I screw up names as well, and my crap only works in Pittsburgh, in the Pittsburgh area, but you think of a Kiner, and you remember him as a broadcaster because of stuff like that. You remember Harry Carey because he did goofy stuff and screwed up names and
Yeah.
said off the wall stuff. And then who else? You think of Myron Cope. Myron Cope.
Yeah.
I mean, you remember people because of the way they are. You don't have to be schooled or the perfect broadcaster. You just, the personalities. And that's another thing that's great about sports is the personalities that call them.
And we had another icon who just retired after 46 years as the Penguins announcer, Mike Lang. You talk about iconic. Oh, man.
Yeah, I mean, I grew up with him, and man, was it a lot of fun. Mario Lemieux, left point, he gives it over to Coffee. Coffee, will he shoot it? No, back to Lemieux. Donnie Yager.
Stop it! Stop it, John. I'm gonna wet my pants. All right, here we go. This guy was a whack job, but he was always media friendly because he would say stupid stuff. I still have the Sports Illustrated cover with he's standing in front of I think home plate. No, on top of the pitcher's mound, smiling, and he has hair curlers all over the place. Doc Ellis on this date in '75 was suspended indefinitely without pay for what the Pirates termed insubordination. Ellis refused to warm up in the bullpen twice during a game against Cincinnati and during a team meeting, lashed out against manager Danny Murtaugh. You didn't do that to Danny. Doc did, and he was gone. But he was a character.
What a crazy guy. I mean, how about, the claims that he pitched the no-hitter on LSD.
Yeah.
My favorite is he says, I'm going out there and I'm going to hit every Reds batter.
And he did. Started a big fight. And he warned the Reds. He went in the locker room and said, I'm going to hit you, Joe Morgan. I'm going to hit you, Dave Concepcion. If I get to you, Pete Rose, I'm going to hit you. And he did.
Yeah,
and I guess when he threw that fat pitch to Reggie Jackson that still hasn't landed in Detroit, he said he was on something, but he couldn't remember.
Yeah, I remember watching that live.
Here we go. Number 3, Pittsburgh Pirates story from the past. I don't know if you remember him. 1982, Mark Lee, a pitcher with the Pirates AAA affiliate in Portland, quits in the middle of a game against Vancouver. After striking out Vancouver's Bob Scooby, Lee calls manager Tom Treadlehorn, to the mound. Then he walks down the right field line, throws the baseball back to the infield, almost hit one of his players, then his cap, and finally removes his jersey, throwing both high in the air, and he left the ballpark.
Was he the Space Lee? Was that his nickname?
No, Mark Lee.
Oh,
Space Lee was Bill Lee of the Boston Red Sox.
Oh, Bill Lee, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, he liked marijuana syrup on his pancakes.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, that's funny. I don't remember Mark Lee. I don't remember that name.
Yeah. Bill Lee was kind of different because I got to know him during my days in baseball. He was media friendly, okay? And he had this great line. Somebody asked him, I think in '74, what do you think of artificial turf? And he said, I never want to pitch on it. If cows can't eat it, I'm not going to pitch on it. He was just weird. Weird. And, I don't know if you collect old Sports Illustrated, but I think I have this magazine. I bought a bunch of them a long time ago from the 50s. But on this date in 1954, Mr. Wayner, the first Sports Illustrated magazine was issued with a 25-cent price tag. The scene on the cover was a game at Milwaukee's County Stadium. Eddie Matthews of the Braves was at the plate, and Wes Restrom was catching. Augie Donatelli, now I think there's a couple of Donatellis, and they must be his nephews. He was the umpire. 25 cents, and now, upon further research, that first one, if it's not autographed, worth about $500.
Oh, yeah, I bet. Yeah, I bet. My favorite Sports Illustrated, favorite Sports Illustrated have Elle Macpherson on them. That's all I'll say about that.
Elle Macpherson.
Yeah, that was my girl.
I thought he was a third baseman. It's a girl. Oh, swimsuit issue. Oh,
Elle Macpherson, absolutely, yeah.
That's your best memory of a sports magazine.
That's my girl there, yep.
All
right.
Yep,
I just ran across one with her. I don't know where I got it, or I got it in my bar downstairs.
Okay. Yeah, I got a lot of those. I would read them and then make sure I wrap them in plastic, keep them for a rainy day. And now there's somebody out there that'll buy them. I know I have a lot of the 50s ones, especially the one with the young Muhammad Ali after he got the gold in Rome for the 1960 Olympics. So,
wow.
Yeah, that stuff is good. I got a lot of baseball digests. By the way, you've never made the cover of Baseball Digest. I just wanted to let you know.
Yeah, that's no surprise.
Yeah, I know. I still can't believe you got all that time on that video. By the way, whoever puts all those, the 10 classic games, the 10 classic comebacks, the 10 greatest pitchers, That stuff is good viewing. So have a couple of more rain delays so we get to see those.
Yep, that's good stuff. I think that's Jack Becker is the guy who does that stuff.
Yeah. By the way, coming up at 2 o'clock my time, 11 o'clock L.A. time, I got Tim Neverett on, not to talk about the Dodgers. He has written a book. Did you know that?
I heard.
Yeah.
Yeah, I heard.
Yeah, something COVID, whatever. COVID curveball. It's about the 2020 Los Angeles Dodgers winning a World Championship without fans, basically. COVID curveball.
Yeah.
It comes out August 31st. So.
It's something. Yeah. How about that? Think about that for a minute now. I mean, 'cause I don't know if they'll ever put an asterisk around the 2020 season because it was shortened to 60 games, and I just think about how hard it is to win a World Series when you look at the Dodgers and all the money they spend year after year, and they get loaded with talent year after year. And it was 32 years between World Series. That's pretty amazing.
Last time they won, what was the guy that went around the bases? He was pulling the lawnmower.
Kirk Gibson.
Yeah,
Kirk
that's one of the great videos. You know, he could barely walk, and they show him talking to Tommy Lasorda. He's like nodding his head. I can do it, Tom.
Yep.
I can do it.
And
You shut up, Tom. I'm going to do it. And he did it.
Yeah.
And he
they
did off
talk
of a
about
good
all
pitcher. He did off a good pitcher, Dennis Eckersley.
They talk about that all the time. How he could barely walk. He had a torn hamstring or whatever, and I guess. But he prepared. And he watched video of Eckersley, and he knew that Eckersley liked to throw. When he got 2 strikes, he'd throw a backdoor slider, and sure enough, he sat backdoor slider. He got the backdoor slider and hit a 3-run walk-off.
Yeah. See, we had a good conversation, as LeBron James would say. Everybody needs a good conversation. Well, I'm waiting for you to come on the talk show, LeBron, so we could talk. So we didn't talk about the Buccos, but we had a good conversation. Always a pleasure, John. Have fun in L.A. Take 2 out of 3, will you?
Will do, Bill.
Thank you,
Talk
sir.
to you, buddy.
All right.
Okay.
Carrick to Pitt Stadium? That's a hike, even on a bicycle. All right. We're going to take a break and talk to John Parado out of Beaver Falls. We're going to talk about the passing away of Joe Walton, who has an unbelievable resume. He was a great quarterbacks coach with the Steelers. Unfortunately, back then, they didn't have a good quarterback, but he was a good coach. Chuck Noll liked him, I know that. And they liked him in New York when he won a couple of games with an awful team called the Jets. We'll be back with John Parado out of Beaver Falls, talking about Joe Walton out about Beaver Falls.
The Watchdog is FM 98.1 W251CY, AM 1600 WKKX Wheeling, FM 97.7 W249DU, AM 1370 WVLY Moundsville.
The ABC News is brought to you by Thomas Auto Centers, Mall Road, St. Clairsville. Get the best deal at Thomas Auto Centers.
From ABC News, I'm Dave Packer. The U.S. will now send an additional 1,000 troops to help safeguard the Kabul airport. Pentagon spokesman John Kirby.
The U.S. military's focus right now is on safety and security at the airport and resuming air operations.
The scene of that airport was chaos today. Afghanis clinging to U.S. military transports as they took off, desperate to escape the Taliban who've taken their country. ABC's Ian Pannell is in Kabul hearing horror stories.
Yesterday, an Afghan friend went to the airport. The streets were so clogged. He went with his family, his 3 kids. They had to ditch their suitcases and walk to the airport. Then someone tried to follow on with those suitcases. After 6 hours, still couldn't get there.
ABC News Chief Global Affairs Correspondent Martha Raddatz.
Whether you want to argue that the Americans should have left or should have left some small force behind, the way this is playing out is truly putting people in very, very great danger.
And all this as the U.S. is desperately trying to evacuate thousands of Americans living in Afghanistan and Afghans who supported the U.S. mission. The White House says President Biden will return from Camp David to address the spiraling situation in Afghanistan this afternoon. U.S. aid workers are assisting in Haiti, where the death toll from the weekend's 7.2 magnitude earthquake has risen to nearly 1,300, and a desperate search for the missing under the rubble. Dr. Inobi Pierre is from a hospital in Haiti. He's an official.
The people of Haiti have been through many catastrophes, so they are very strong and they have an indomitable force to go through issues.
And the devastation could soon worsen. Tropical Depression Grace is predicted to reach Haiti tonight. In one of the strictest coronavirus mandates yet, all health workers in New York State must be vaccinated against COVID-19 by the end of next month. The new policy includes limited exemptions for religious and medical reasons. You're listening to ABC News.
Do you check your Google search results regularly? You should. People often get their first impression of you or your business online. Negative comments on the internet can impact your life and your livelihood. Take control of your online reputation. Get your free reputation report card at reputationdefender.com. It may reveal negative posts from an ex-employee, upset patient or client, news article, legal issue, or even exposed personal information right there in your Google search results. Uncover what's lurking on the internet about you with reputationdefender.com's patented scan and get your free reputation report card. Or for immediate assistance with your reputation, call 800-401-6681. Our cutting-edge technology helps make your Google search results look their best. Call 800-401-6681. That's 800-401-6681. 800-401-6681. Or take the free scan at reputationdefender.com.
A new treatment may ease COVID-19 suffering.
The one bright spot in the COVID headlines has come from the Baylor Scott and White Research Institute, where something called neutralizing monoclonal antibodies are in use.
We actually have something that can decrease your risk of hospitalization and improve your chance of survival.
Dr. Robert Gottlieb says this is not a cure or a preventative, but it can ease COVID symptoms and head off a trip to the hospital. He says that could save 2 lives.
You could save your own life, and you can save the life that needs that hospital bed that you would have otherwise taken up.
Jim Ryan, ABC News, Dallas.
The Paralympics opening next week in Tokyo. Following the lead of the just completed Summer Games, there'll be no fans in the stadium because of the coronavirus pandemic. 3 tropical storms are churning, one approaching Florida's Panhandle. ABC's Rob Marciano is in Panama City Beach.
Fred has been strengthening overnight to our south. This is one of 3 tropical cyclones that are spinning in the Atlantic Basin. What could become Henri soon, Grace impacting Haiti, and Fred, which has already impacted West Florida, St. Petersburg, seeing torrential rains, gusty winds near 60 miles per hour, a couple of tornado warnings as well. Probably not going to get to hurricane strength, but can't rule that out, as we expect landfall late this afternoon somewhere between Pensacola Beach and, say, Apalachicola.
More than 6,000 firefighters are battling the month-old Dixie Fire in Northern California. Wall Street, the Dow down 21 points. This is ABC News.
Mr. Clean, Mr. Clean.
So a friend told me about Mr. Clean Magic Eraser, and his exact words were, "It changed my life."
I used to spend a ridiculous amount of time trying to remove tomato sauce from inside our microwave and soap scum off the bathtub.
It's like seriously magic, and my secret weapon for cleaning the kitchen, bathroom, doors and walls, and even keeping my sneakers clean.
Mr. Clean Magic Eraser.
Greatest invention ever.
Mr. Clean, Mr. Clean, Mr. Clean.
Mr. Clean Magic Eraser, the unicorn of cleaning.
Dave Packer, ABC News.
This is ONN. Just northeast of Columbus, New Albany public schools are not requiring masks as classes resume this week, and some parents held a protest over the weekend. Lacey Crisp with affiliate station WBNS-TV in Columbus reports.
One mom says they choose to protest because they feel they're not being heard.
There's a large group of parents who want a mask requirement at New Albany public schools. We're speaking for a lot of people.
And we reached out to the district for a comment, and a spokesman says, quote, "We have implemented the recommendations of the Ohio Department of Health, including strongly recommending masking for the unvaccinated. The district will continue to review information presented by parents for response." Lacey Crisp in Columbus.
And the medical advisor for the Biden administration continued to push for vaccinations over the weekend as the Delta variant of the coronavirus continues to spread. Karina Nova has more.
Dr. Anthony Fauci is asking unvaccinated Americans to put aside their concerns for the greater good.
Put aside all of these issues of concern about personal liberties and realize we have a common enemy,
and that common enemy is the virus. And we really have to all pull together to get on top of this. Otherwise, we're going to continue to suffer as we're seeing right now.
Here in Ohio, the Ohio Department of Health reported 1,977 new cases of COVID-19 on Sunday. I'm Karina Nova.
And I'm Daniel Barnett on the Ohio News Network.
The best in live and local talk returns momentarily on The Watchdog.
Wheeling Coin and Hobby on 10th Street in Wheeling, next to the Bridge Tavern in downtown Wheeling, wants to buy any and all unwanted gold and silver jewelry. They are paying top dollar for 10, 14, 18, and 22 karat gold plus 925 sterling silver. They also want to buy collectible coins and paper money from before 1933. Wheeling Coin and Hobby is open daily from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m., Monday through Saturday. Coin and Hobby, 304-232-8430, and add them on Facebook.
Plumbers and Steamfitters Local 83 want to thank the owners and contractors of the Ohio Valley for using their locally trained workers to help build for the future. Local 83 helps design, fabricate, and build the gas infrastructure for the oil and gas industry here in the Ohio Valley. Plumbers and Steamfitters Local 83 is 300 members strong and growing. They also do residential, commercial, and industrial work on both sides of the river. For more information, call Plumbers and Steamfitters Local 83 at 304-233-4444.
For all of your IT needs, visit OmniPerforms.com. Omni Strategic Technologies, the only IT company that the Watchdog trusts.
Hello, everyone. From the Watchdog, I'm the Storm Tracker, Darnell Foster. With a look at your local weather forecast for your start to the work week, mix of sun and clouds with scattered showers and storms possibly, a daytime high near 75. Scattered showers through the evening, the overnight, temperatures down to about 68 for the low. Chance for showers and storms for your Tuesday, otherwise times of clouds and sunshine, with temperatures in the mid to upper 70s. Have yourself a great day, everyone. From the Watchdog, I'm Darnell Foster.
The views and opinions expressed on the following program are not necessarily those of this station or its sponsors.
You unlock this door with the key of imagination. Beyond it is another dimension. A dimension of sound. A dimension of sight. A dimension of mind. You're moving into a land of both shadow and substance, of things and ideas. You've just crossed over into the Twilight Zone.
Now it's time for Bill DeFabio on AM 1600 WKKX, The Watchdog.
Population keeps on bleeding, nation bleeding, still bleeding. Life is funny, skies are sunny, bees make honey, each money
Yeah, I could change the world in my mind, but I'm losing my mind. Just ask Lola. Don't answer that, Lola. Well, my next guest, I feel bad for him. Mr. Parado, I understand you went up to $4 million to buy that Honus Wagner card. You're about $2.6 million short because it was sold for $6.6 million. I'm sorry, man. I know you wanted that card.
I was willing to pay $4 million, but I came up short, and $6.6 million for a baseball card. And it's not even as big as the baseball cards are today. It's just tiny.
Yeah, it's real small.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's about as big as, I don't know, a stamp, maybe a little bit bigger than a stamp.
Yeah, not much bigger. Yeah, really.
Well, you know what? Somebody's going to buy that for even more money. So we're not done talking about the price of that Honus Wagner card, 110 years old.
amazing. The sports collectible market's gone way up in the last couple of years. I'm not exactly sure why. It kind of bottomed out for a while, but now it's back up, which is good for me because I still kept all my baseball cards from when I was a kid.
Yeah. And if you have a Honus Wagner card, I'll find out where you live, and when you go on vacation, I'll come and look for it.
I don't have a Honus Wagner card, unfortunately, but one of those days when I hit the Powerball, I'll buy one.
Yeah, okay. I saw that last night. I go, you got to be kidding me! A piece of cardboard. Then I'm thinking that won't last, because when it sold for $4.9 million, I said that's not going to last long, and it didn't.
No.
It's like these cards get recycled. And I guess there's a few more out there. So who knows? Who knows? I don't really want to talk about the Pirates because what can we say positive about Pittsburgh?
We could say that none of their baseball cards are worth $6 million. Right?
Maybe buy Hayes' rookie card because he might be a Hall of Famer someday, right? But he might be wearing another uniform in his playing days.
Most likely at some point.
Yeah, what do you think of all the no-hitters all of a sudden? We still might have a couple of more.
Pretty amazing, especially a kid the other night from the Diamondbacks, his first big league start.
Yeah.
Never really was considered a prospect. The Dodgers released him out of the minor leagues last year, and he was helping his dad, who was an electrician. He was learning how to be an electrician, and he got a shot with the Diamondbacks to go to spring training in the minor league side of camp.
What a great story.
And he ends up pitching a no-hitter. So, it's been an interesting year for that, and I think a lot of it is the fact that, I think if you've noticed, since they cut down on using the foreign substances in June, there's only been one no-hitter. So I still think that had a lot to do with it.
And the kid in Cleveland almost had a no-hitter, but in the eighth inning, the Tigers took care of that. But still, that was another kid, a no-name, that almost made history. We almost had 2 no-hitters in 48 hours. It's just amazing. It's just amazing.
It is amazing, yeah.
By the way, later in the show, I have Tim Neverett on, the Dodger announcer, Red Sox announcer. Went to a competitive college. Well, not competitive because he went to Emerson, I went to BU, and we kicked their butt a lot in baseball. But it was a good school, and he graduated from there. About 2 blocks from where I graduated from BU. I'm having him on not to talk about the Dodgers' success, where Mookie Betts makes more money than the entire Pirate roster.
Yeah, pretty much.
Isn't that something? One player making more money than the whole Pirate roster. Same with Garrett Cole. Garrett Cole the same way.
I know.
Unbelievable. Anyhow, he's going to talk about his book. Tim Neverett is. It comes out August 31st, called COVID Curveball. It's about winning a championship during COVID. I think it's going to be an interesting book.
I think so too. Yeah, I got a note from Tim a while back saying he was working on it and he was writing it, and I'm looking forward to reading it too.
Yeah. Hopefully you'll have more fun with that than trying to get Dave Parker on the air, right?
No, I don't have a talk show, so I don't.
Oh no, I'm thinking of George Von Benko. I'm thinking of George Von Benko, who bugged me and bugged me and bugged me. To Fabio, look at all I've done for you, and I said, "What do you mean? That's a short list, George. I've helped you a lot, but I don't keep track." So he had the same problem. He called me back. He said, "You sure you got the right number to Fabe?" I said, "Yeah." I said, "You got to keep calling this guy. Threaten him." I did.
I know.
And the next day I got a phone number. Dave will talk to you all you want. He remembers you. But if I'm a PR guy, a marketing guy, and you're paying me to help you sell books, man, I'll go on anybody's show.
Well, I had the same problem with the guy. I finally got a book when the author himself happened to send me an email saying, "Hey, did you ever read my book I wrote on Dave Parker yet?" And I said, "I never got the book you wrote on Dave Parker." And then finally, a couple days later, it came in the mail.
Yeah. Well, our old friend Jim O'Brien, who's written 5,000 books, they're always in the mail.
Always.
Yeah. They're not hardcover anymore, paperback. It doesn't matter. Jim has another book out on basketball, I think, some basketball greats from the area. But I can't wait for Neverett. He's a good guy. I mean, how about that? Tim Neverett leaves Pittsburgh, right? And he was around for a couple of years when they were good. Leaves Pittsburgh, goes to Boston, gets a championship ring. He leaves Boston, goes to L.A., and after a couple of years, he has a Dodger championship ring. That's good stuff.
That is. So it couldn't happen to a better guy.
Oh, nice guy. Real nice guy, And we keep in touch, too. So, but I wanted to talk to you about a guy I was familiar with. I thought he was an excellent quarterback coach with the Steelers. Unfortunately, he had a dummy as a quarterback named Bubby Brister, who could not remember the playbook. Now you know the rest of the story. But Joe Walton was a great interview, always media friendly, even when the Steelers were like 6-10, 5-11. Joe Walton always said yes to an interview. All right, he talked more than Chuck Noll, which everybody did. But you're familiar with Joe Walton because he coached down the street from you at Robert Morris. He was with the New York Jets as a head coach. They ran him out of town. And I know he played 8 or 9 years in the NFL. He was a solid tight end with the Redskins and the Giants. And, of course, another great individual from that small town of Beaver Falls. What do you know about Joe Walton?
Well, I got to know Joe. I knew him a little bit when he was the Steelers, but, I didn't cover the Steelers a whole lot then, so I wasn't around him much. But I came to know him really well when he went to Robert Morris. I was working at the Beaver County Times, and Robert Morris being a Moon Township in our coverage area, and I was assigned to a lot of their games, and I usually did their preview story every week during the season, their game preview. So I got to know Joe pretty well, and he was also my neighbor. Lived about 5 blocks away from me here in Beaver Falls, and he was a wonderful guy. Just very kind, very patient, always had time for everybody, and he did a great job at Robert Morris. He took that program from scratch. When they started, won 4 or 5 conference titles in the time he was there, and just a good guy, just a really, really good guy, a good football mind, and an even better person.
I remember talking to him. I think Bubby fumbled the ball twice and threw 3 interceptions in a game against the Raiders. And, nobody was talking to Joe, and I went over and I said, you want to talk a little bit about your quarterback? He said, I have nothing to say. You know Bubby. He'll get it someday. I said, he will. He's been around a couple of years, Coach. He just smiled. He wasn't about to rip his quarterback, and I just wanted to see if he'd give me a comment. I had nothing to lose.
Sure.
But, yeah, he went to New York, won a few games, and then when the Jets started to lose, the coach was the first to go. And I did some research. He was a physical tight end, spent 8 years in the NFL with the Redskins and the Giants. So his resume is complete. Passes away at 85. Now, did he replace Banaszak, or did Banaszak come after Joe Walton?
Banaszak was one of his top assistants. Joe was the original coach at Robert Morris, the very first coach when they started their program. And then John Banaszak, it always was kind of implied from the beginning that Banaszak would eventually be the head coach in waiting, and that's the way it turned out. But yeah, Joe had quite a staff. He had Dan Radakovich on his staff when he first.
Ex-Steeler from the 70s,
Yeah.
ex-Steeler coach. Wasn't he defensive coordinator?
Yes,
Coordinator?
he was.
Yeah, coordinator.
And it was really fun to cover them because of Joe, and he had such a good atmosphere around the program. His kids were always good to deal with, and all the assistant coaches were always good to deal with. And like you said, he was media friendly, and he made sure that everybody in his program was good with the media too. So from a reporter standpoint, I really enjoyed covering his early teams there at Robert Morris. And I'd see Joe now and again. Like I said, we lived fairly close to each other. I'd run into him, here or there in a restaurant or at the grocery store or something. And he, always would stop. We'd always end up talking for about a half hour. Just a wonderful guy.
Yeah, I found he was wearing a Washington Redskins uniform. I don't know what year it was. I didn't look at the back of the card. It's in pretty good shape. And then I also found a Marty Schottenheimer card. I think it was 1970. He was wearing a New England Patriots uniform. So, yeah. I never knew I had that stuff till I started to look. Now I'm going to look even more. Who knows?
Maybe you got a Swagger card.
Nah. With my luck, I'll have Mario Mendoza's rookie card that's worth about a nickel.
Yeah, well, you might get 6 cents for it.
Yeah, but if I got to ship it to you, that's a forever stamp, 55 cents.
Absolutely.
I'm getting screwed either way, John.
There's the money in that deal.
Oh, man. I do have some Michael Jordan cards, Fleer cards from the 90s. Might be worth something. We'll find out. Hey, I just went over the calendar with John Wayner, who's always a good story. This one, maybe you were surprised or not surprised in 75. Doc Ellis is suspended by Danny Murtaugh without pay for what Murtaugh termed insubordination. There's no false statement there, folks. Ellis refused to warm up in the bullpen twice during a game against Cincinnati and during a team meeting, he lashed out against Murtaugh, which was a no-no, and Ellis was suspended. But you'll love this story. 1982, Mark Lee, pitcher with the Pittsburgh Pirates AAA affiliate in Portland. I forgot they had a AAA. Can you imagine you get called up by the Pirates and you're in Portland? We want you to report to the game tonight.
well, yeah, and then they went from Portland, then they ended up in Honolulu after that.
Yeah.
A couple of years.
Hey, Parado, we need you for the bullpen tomorrow. Can you get here ASAP? Sure, Coach. I'll swim.
Exactly. Yeah.
Anyhow, after Lee, Mr. Lee, that's a song. After Lee struck out Vancouver's Bob Scooby, Lee called manager Tom Treadlehorn. Didn't Treadlehorn manage the Twins?
He managed the Brewers.
Brewers, that's right.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
He called the manager to the mound, and then he walks down the right field line. He throws a baseball back to the infield, almost hit one of his players. Then he tossed his cap, and he finally removed his jersey, and he left it and walked away from baseball. How smart is that guy?
Well, he guess you could say he went out on his own terms.
Oh, yeah. I don't know if you were there in 1947. Ralph Kiner, great hitter, funny broadcaster. I used to watch Kiner's Corner on Channel 9 when I used to get WOR at home on my rabbit ear TV. But Ralph Kiner on this date, 3 consecutive home runs to become the first Pirate to ever accomplish that feat. Pittsburgh beat St. Louis 12-7.
Yes, I missed that game, but yeah, I wish I could have seen Ralph Kiner. You know, I make the point on Ralph Kiner, and I know people get mad and everybody says, you know, I'm crazy, but I'd say Ralph Kiner was the most popular Pirates player ever. I'm not saying the best Pirates player ever, but you look at the attendance figures in those years, they had terrible teams, and they were among the top teams in the National League in attendance every year because people went to see Ralph Kiner.
Yeah, they also had Dale Long. What, in 56 he hit 8 home runs in 8 games or something?
Yeah.
I remember sitting down in Bradenton, because I used to spend, 4 or 5 weeks there, living off the Pirates, 3 meals a day. I got to stay in Pirate City, you know what I mean? But I spent a long time with Tony Barterome. And Tony was part of the 1951 Rinky Dinks when they lost, 112 games?
Mm-hmm.
He told me his teammate was Joe Garagiola.
Yeah, he was the catcher on that.
Yeah, how about that?
He made a living off making fun of that team on the Game of the Week.
Yeah.
I remember as a kid, he always would talk about the O'Brien twins and Tony and different guys on that 52 team.
Yeah, and they were on a movie. They were in a movie from Hollywood called Angels in the Outfield.
Yeah.
How about that? A movie star, Tony Barterome.
How about that? He was. Tony was a great guy.
He should have written a book.
He should have.
Boy, could he tell some stories, huh?
No, I think probably too many stories out of school would have gotten him in trouble if he wrote a book.
That's true. I thought maybe because he was the first in the class of Cooperstown Hall of Famers, 1936, I always thought maybe Honus Wagner was the greatest Pirate of all.
I would say he was the greatest player of all time, but I think the most popular was Kiner just because of the way they drew.
Yeah.
To come see him hit a home run. But the best player in my mind, clearly, and I know a lot of people say Roberto Clemente, but if you look at Honus Wagner, and, you know, there's no film clips of him, there's no video of him, obviously, but he was a dominant player, and if they would have had the most valuable player award, which they didn't back then, he probably would have won 7, 8, 9 MVPs.
Yeah.
He would hold the record.
Yeah. I remember there was a sporting goods store in Washington. It was Honus Wagner Sporting Goods.
Yep.
And that's where I would get my gloves, my baseballs and stuff, you know, and I never got to see him. I got to see Clemente, so I got to put Clemente as my favorite, you know. But you know what? I remember watching on Studio Wrestling, Who Can?
American.
And the voice, a former Pirate third baseman and a good one, Pie Traynor.
Absolutely. I got to meet Pie Traynor. I was a little boy, probably 5 or 6, and my great uncle knew him. And got a chance to meet. I faintly remember, and I thought of him more from Studio Wrestling, obviously, until I got a little older. I realized he was one of the all-time great third basemen in baseball history. But he's a very nice man. I remember he was very nice to me, and we chit-chatted for a minute, and it was pretty cool. I got to tell all my friends at school that I met the guy on Studio Wrestling.
Yeah, who was the girl in the bathtub? She had black hair, black
Oh,
gown,
yeah.
black gown. She looked like a witch. I mean, she was beautiful, but she looked like she might have been in a witchcraft or something.
Oh, I can't think
Oh,
of her.
I see her right
Was it
now.
Terminal Stare.
No.
that
Terminal
was
Stare
pretty
was,
big.
yeah, she didn't say anything, but I just
Yeah.
saw her a couple of weeks ago. We had lunch together. I walked right by her. I didn't recognize her.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I haven't seen her in a long time.
Yep. But yeah, Terminal Stare was cool. But, you know, every time I had Bruno Sammartino on here, I would say, Bruno, who can? He says, not you, but Pie Trainer can. What was the name? Who Can? American Heating, right?
American Heating and Plumbing.
And you know what? You remember John Fedko? You talk about turkeys. Remember him? I used to do the Bill Cowher show with him. It was either a $50 gift certificate to Ruth Chris Steakhouse, which would buy you a baked potato because it's expensive.
Yeah, I was going to say, you might get like you might get a drink or something.
So
out of
I
that.
said to John, can I have the $75 cash? He goes, that's because you're the greatest. He always said, he introduced me as the greatest. Greatest entrepreneur, boom, boom, boom. He was so full of it. So I took the $75, but there was a problem with me, Dale Lawley, and I think Eddie Bouchette. Ed Bouchette. Ed looks like Ed Sullivan. You know, he wouldn't give us time to talk. It was 40 minutes of him talking. So they have this on tape because the producer of that show worked as my video guy at the Wild Things for 4 years, and he always talked about it. The camera's on. He introduces me, and I turn around. I put my hand on his knee, and I said, John, you going to let me talk for longer than 40 or 45 seconds? I talked the rest of the show. And he wasn't happy about it, but he kept smiling. And I was never on that show again.
Wow.
But I got the $75 because, you know, $50, maybe you can get a Coca-Cola and a baked potato and maybe a side order of green beans for $50.
Maybe.
Yeah.
I don't even know if you could get that in today's $50.
Oh,
I know.
No, I can't. Probably won't be able to eat in the dining room.
Probably not.
You know, so that's it. Hey, a sad note. We already talked about Joe Walton, 85. This sad note in baseball, it hasn't been done since 1920, and I hope it's never done again. On this date in 1920, are you listening, Indian fans? Cleveland Indians shortstop Ray Chapman hit in the head with a pitch by the New York Yankees' Carl Mays. Chapman suffers a fractured skull and dies the next day in a hospital. It's the only time a field fatality has taken place in Major League Baseball. Think of all the guys that either got hit real hard in the head or around the head. We've been very fortunate we don't have to report that news.
Yes, we have been, especially, I know guys wear helmets these days, and it's different than it was in 1920, but these guys also throw 100 miles an hour, too, and every time a ball goes up near someone's head or somebody gets hit in the helmet with a pitch, it just scares the bejesus out of me.
Yeah, it does to me when I see helmet to helmet on a football field, and a guy or two don't get up, you know what I mean?
Yep.
You know? Well, I think we covered all bases. Yeah, it's good stuff. We don't have to talk about, what do we say about the Pirates? Maybe they'll win tonight, huh? Maybe somebody will throw a no-hitter for the Pirates and be the top sports news feature on MLB. Quick pitch, you know?
They might bring the space shuttle back, and me and you will be on the crew of it, too.
No, me and you are going to be the first men on Mars.
There you go.
All right.
Well, I've been in Mars, Pennsylvania, but not on Mars, the planet.
That's pretty good. I've been to Mars, too. What are they called? The planets.
The planet.
Why
Yep.
would you nickname a team from Mars the planets? Why don't you call them the Martians?
Yeah, I know. They
You know
weren't
what?
thinking.
Yeah, I'm trying to get used to the new Cleveland team. What are they going to be called? I forgot already.
Guardians.
Yeah, give me a break.
that leaves me cold for
Yeah,
sure.
well, you know, it's just like the team we had in Washington. We were playing, they got the best record in the Frontier League. The Florence Yalls. Y-A-L-L-S. They used to be called Florence Freedom. Do you know why they changed?
No.
A big-time sponsor with big-time cash made a deal with ownership, and now they're selling those yaws. Check them out on the cell phone or computer. Check out the uniforms. They're not bad. But they have yaws. You know, I had a problem saying, now, ladies and gentlemen, let me introduce to you the starting lineup of the Florence Yalls. So after I introduced the lineup, I never mentioned yaws again for 9 innings.
Oh, God.
The players don't like it, but management's making a lot of money because of sponsorship.
Absolutely.
That's what it's all about.
Absolutely.
You know? Ownership would sponsor me if they could make a buck. You think I'm lying?
That's what you need, a sponsor.
I've had those. You name it with my
Bob
network.
Nutt right down the street there. I think maybe you can get him to be your sponsor.
Let me call Mr. Nutting. Would you like to sponsor my sports report right up the street from you? You can co-host every Monday and Friday. Come on, Bob.
Wow.
Yeah, what a great idea. You think I make it through the front door?
Probably not.
All right. Maybe I'll see him at the restaurant.
Yeah, there you go.
I've offered for him to come on the show. I wouldn't rip him on his parts on his own show or my show.
No.
You know, I think he's good for business. He's a businessman. So
He is.
He can't be a dummy like me and you.
Oh, he's very good at that. Yeah.
Hey, I got another idea. I think if we had $300,000, we could take a flight to the moon down the road. How about me and you on the moon? Would you play catch with me? And then you can look at me and say, Bill, is this heaven?
Yeah, but with no gravity, the ball probably would just sail right over your head and just keep going forever.
Oh, yeah. I never thought of that. We could call it the moon of dreams.
There you go.
How about if we shot the moon?
Yeah.
On the moon.
Yep.
Wow, we could be on Fox and CNN. They
All
could
of
do
them.
live reports with me and you. We could be stars, man.
We would be. We'd be famous and rich.
This film they make with me and you on the moon would be bigger than the Three Stooges land on the moon. Abbott and Costello, relived.
There you go.
Always fun, John. Thanks for an update on one of the prides. It seems like there's everybody from Beaver Falls on Joe Walton, one of the all-time greats. Thank you, man.
Oh, you're welcome, Bill. Thanks for having me.
All right. I wouldn't go to the moon. I'd go to Moon Township, yeah, home with John Calipari and Lou Christie. How about that? And one of my producers, not producers, one of my, he helps me with the scores and stuff in the press box. George, good guy. Thinks he's going to be on ESPN tomorrow and whatever. Well, if you have a dream, do what you can to fulfill that dream. Okay, I had a dream and I've done everything I wanted to do. Well, I never thought I'd be working with Lola, but I guess my life in sports has been saved for the last. I saved the best for the last working with you, Lola. I'll take that to my grave. What do you think?
Okay.
All right?
Okay. Yeah.
Shall we take a break?
Yeah.
All right, let's take a break. Ray Fittipaldo will give us an update on a guy that everybody's talking about, a former Cleveland Brown player, Joe Schober, right after this.
The Metro News Update is brought to you by Thomas Auto Centers, Mall Road, St. Clairsville. Get the best deal at Thomas Auto Centers.
West Virginia Metro News. I'm Chris Lawrence. At CAMC in Charleston, the number of COVID patients continues to rise. Dr. Fred Kern appeared on a recent edition of Metro News Talkline, sharing what he is seeing amid those who are infected.
A younger population, a unvaccinated population, a population that's often done something, major wedding, concert, something that put them in an environment where they had a lot of exposure.
Governor Jim Justice providing an update on the COVID response in his briefing this hour. You can watch it live at WVMetroNews.com. West Virginia is among the first states to get the COVID booster shot. The Kanawha-Charleston Health Department reopened its free COVID vaccination and testing clinic over the weekend to administer that third shot to those who have compromised immune systems. A Sunday fire in Taylor County has left a man injured. Authorities say that victim drove himself to the hospital for treatment. The blaze occurred about 2:45 Sunday afternoon at a home on Shelby Run Road in Grafton. An investigation into what caused the fire is underway. In Berkeley County, a Maryland man has now admitted to a federal drug charge in Martinsburg Federal Court. 44-year-old Antonio Darden, who's from Mogginsville, Maryland, pleaded guilty to possession with intent to distribute cocaine hydrochloride and now faces up to 20 years in federal prison. You're listening to Metro News, the voice of West Virginia. Tamarack is reopening services in its restaurant today. Dining was shut down last week when a worker in the shop was diagnosed with COVID. Officials say since then the kitchen has been completely cleaned and sanitized for the safety of patrons. Water service has been restored at the North Central Regional Jail in Doddridge County. A broken water line servicing the lockup forced them to shut down last week. Inmates were provided with bottled water, while a portable water tank was set up for service of the jail's food service area. From the Metro News Anchor Desk, I'm Chris Lawrence.
AutomotiveMap.com presents the Sports Flash, powered by the score on the Watchdog. I'm John Thayer.
In the NASCAR Cup Series this weekend at Indianapolis Motor Speedway Road Course for the Verizon 200 at the Brickyard, A.J. Allmendinger, the winner. He was ahead of Ryan Blaney and Kyle Larson, while Chase Elliott and Matt DiBenedetto rounded out the top five. The NASCAR Cup Series heads to Michigan on Sunday. Kevin Kisner was the winner of the Wyndham Championship over the weekend, securing his spot in the FedEx Cup playoffs. He defeated 5 others in a 6-man playoff. All 6 golfers got par on the first playoff hole before Kisner birdied on the second playoff hole. FedEx playoffs begin this week. Download the Score app today. Lightning fast sports alerts so you never miss a thing. I'm John Thayer with the Sports Flash, powered by the Score on the Watchdog.
Liberty Mutual Insurance Company presents and Doug.
Check it out, Limu, a roadside carnival.
Step right up, folks. Test your strength. Come see the fire-breathing baby.
Let's fan out and tell people that Liberty Mutual customizes your car insurance so you only pay for what you need.
Look, an emu wearing sunglasses.
Limu, you're famous. Only pay for what you need.
Liberty, 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 liberty. It's like I blinked and suddenly all my business shifted to e-commerce.
Now my business hours are whenever my customers need me.
My customers want everything now and faster than ever. It's a whole different world.
Your business is changing. The United States Postal Service is changing with it. We're bringing you fast, reliable shipping nationwide, and we're bringing it right when your customers need it. Let's discover new routes. Visit USPS.com/new routes. The United States Postal Service. Priority, you.
For all of your IT needs, visit OmniPerforms.com. Omni Strategic Technologies, the only IT company that the Watchdog trusts.
Oh, there's something so real about living local. And I know without a doubt I'm not alone. And I'm loving living local. There's nowhere else I'd rather be. Said I'm loving living local. WTRF is working for me. The Ohio Valley is where I love to be.
Quaker Steak and Lube at the Highlands is the perfect place to relax after a long day. Happy hour from 3 to 6 Monday through Friday. Get $2 off appetizers, $3 off domestic drafts, and house wine specials. Quaker Steak and Lube, voted Best Wings USA. Quaker Steak and Lube at the Highlands with another steal of a deal. Get a steak burger and fries all day Monday for only $8.99. It's also Military Mondays. The Lube will take 25% off for all veterans, active duty military, and first responders. Quaker Steak and Lube, voted Best Wings USA.
Hey, I'm going to the kitchen. Can I grab you a Coors Light?
Yeah, that sounds good.
Huh. I never knew there was a zip line in my fridge. Hey! Hey, buddy! Yeah. You got 2 Coors Lights up there?
Always brewed down to 34 degrees. With a taste as cold as the Rockies, only Coors Light gives you refreshment every time.
Here you go. 2 Coors Lights.
Awesome, man. Wow, these are really cold.
That's the only way I deliver it.
Sure. I mean, you being a mountain climber and all,
Yep.
you probably need a pretty warm coat in there, huh?
Yep.
Hey, Ben!
Yeah!
Ask him if he has any nachos.
You got any nachos in there?
No.
Just icy cold Coors Light?
Yep.
That makes sense. It is the Rockies.
Coors Light, the world's most refreshing beer. Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado. With great beer comes great responsibility.
Hi, this is Hoppy Kercheval. Join me weekdays at 10:06, right after the Watchdog Morning Show with Howard Monroe for Statewide Talkline. I love guests, conversations, texts, phone calls, and all the big stories affecting West Virginia. So tune in weekdays right here on FM 98.1 and FM 97.7, The Watchdog.
Waiting for the break.
Calling all gun owners. Washington County's largest gun show. Circle this date on your calendar, September 25th through 26th. And it's at the beautiful facilities where right now it's the Washington County Fair taking place. The first time the fair has been open to the public in 2 years. And, the shows, its members are, well, you don't have a table because they're all booked up. 450. Ooh, that's a lot of tables. Of course, that's a lot of ammo. Oh, they have bow and arrows, by the way. A lot of good stuff, and they're buying guns, too. There's a big need out there for used guns, and people are just buying used guns because some of the newer guns are expensive, okay? And this is all to our good friends who sponsor a lot of our shows on this airwaves, ARH, okay? They're good people, and due to Pennsylvania mandates, all COVID-19 restrictions apply. From what I understand, no masks for the public in attendance. All types of firearms, modern, military, and antique. Cash buyers on site for your guns, okay? That's coming up in about a month from now. So, okay, always good stuff. If you go out there, you got to try the hot dogs with sauerkraut. Very cheap. The food out there is very cheap but very good. You might have to stand in line. But the hot dogs with sauerkraut, All right, he's back from Philadelphia. I don't know if he went to Pat's Cheesesteak. Ray, are you there? Ray Fittipaldo?
Good afternoon, Bill. How are you?
Did you go there?
I did not make it to Pat's. We stayed out in King of Prussia, PA. So we went over to King of Prussia Mall and ended up eating at a chain restaurant. So I did not get the flavor of Philly that I wanted.
That's a few miles, isn't it, King of Prussia?
It's about 45 minutes outside the city.
Oh, okay. I'm so used when I travel with the teams, I was always near the ballpark. So, well, I take that back. Remember old Veterans Stadium? Pitt used to play Rutgers there, and we knew there'd be more Pitt fans than Rutgers fans, and we knew there probably wouldn't be more than 10,000 people there. And if you ever been to the Vet, it's one of the all-time dumps. So the new stadium, it's pretty cool. Veterans Stadium, it was like Riverfront. As Riverfront got old, it sucked. So did Three Rivers. So I guess all three cities did well, right?
Yeah, St. Louis had another cookie cutter ballpark with Busch, but the setup in Philly is terrific now. You got Citizens Bank Field, which is a nice ballpark, and then right next door you got the Link, and then if you just go a few more feet down the road, you got the 76ers and the Flyers building. So it's a nice little setup they have there. Not maybe as quaint as a PNC Park, but having all three venues in one area, I think it's great for that city.
Well, I'm familiar with the ballpark. Is it right behind the football field, the huge ballpark? I mean, a huge parking lot? Yeah, 2015, I took a busload of people and we went to see the Pope. So that was a great weekend. Lola was my teammate. She helped out. We enjoyed ourselves in Philadelphia, where there was a lot of police presence, no shootings, no harm done. The Pope was there, and we got to see him. Matter of fact, he was in front of me. I thought he was waving at me, but there was a gentleman behind me with a little girl on his shoulders. The Pope was waving at her. But I tell people when I see this picture, he's waving at me. That's the Pope. That's the Father waving at me. And Lola, of course, was laughing at the time. But we all had a good time. The people on the bus from Wheeling, we were singing. We were having a good time for the long bus ride. And, but we parked in that huge parking lot. That's one of the most convenient places I've ever seen for sports teams. You had the Phillies parked there. You had the Eagles parked there. And you had the Flyers indoor arena there. You park and walk to one of the three, whichever's doing business, right?
Yeah, it's great in that respect. If you're into, the aesthetics of it, it's a lot of asphalt. It's not very pretty to look at.
No.
As you look outside these stadiums, but, convenience-wise for fans and logistically for fans, I think that's a pretty good deal.
All right, I'm getting tired about Joe Schobert this, Joe Schobert this. Joe Sherber's that. He's what the Steelers wanted. Well, is he the next Jack Lambert? Because all I hear is positive things about this guy. I remember as a Cleveland Brown, he was pretty good. And I guess the Steelers got a deal, or should we say a steal, because they just gave up a 6th-round pick. Why did Jacksonville give up on him?
I just think new regime in Jacksonville. It's not the regime that signed him to a 5-year, $53 million contract, and they just wanted to be out of the contract. And, Joe Schobert didn't fit in their plans anymore. And We got conflicting stories of how the trade came about. Did the Steelers pursue Schobert, or did Jacksonville call the Steelers? We got two sides to that story, so we don't know where the truth is there. But for a guy of Joe Schobert's caliber to only have to give up a sixth-round pick, and there's a report out there that the Jags are picking up half of his salary this year. To me, even if Joe Schobert isn't what he used to be, that's a small price to pay for a starter on your defense.
Could he see as much playing time, if not more? I'm just going to ask you, could he start if Devin Bush doesn't have a great preseason?
Well, he'll start alongside Devin Bush in the base defense. We already know that. They had Robert Spillane working with the second team yesterday at practice. Joe Schobert was with the starters. The big thing now is who's going to be the three-down linebacker in the dime defense. Is it going to be Devin Bush or is it going to be Schobert? And both those guys, with their previous teams, Joe with his previous teams, he played 100% of the snaps. He never came off the field. And when the Steelers drafted Devin Bush, they gave up a lot to trade up 10 spots to get him. Everyone thought he was going to be a three-down backer, never come off the field. So now, something's got to give. And if Devin Bush is the guy who's not going to play every snap, then that draft pick is looking like, I'm not going to say it's a bust, but I don't know if that's what they were envisioning when they drafted Devin Bush with the number 10 overall pick back in 2019.
Item number 2. I was impressed with the Ohio State Buckeye when he played. Could he be number 2 in 3 weeks?
You're talking about Dwayne Haskins?
Yes,
Yeah, I mean, it's on the table, Bill, and I didn't think a month ago that we would be having this conversation. He's been good in the 2 preseason games. He's been good in practice, and he's made this a storyline. So I don't know if he's going to beat out Mason Rudolph. I think a lot of that will depend on if they do believe that Haskins is the guy. Can they get something for Mason Rudolph in a trade? Can they flip him for maybe a draft pick? So if they feel comfortable doing that, I think that's on the table. But no doubt Dwayne Haskins has played well enough, for that to be an option for him.
I like his mobility in the backfield. He sees some trouble coming. He can roll out or whatever. And he was throwing some nice passes. I was, the first game I go, okay. Second game I came away thinking, the kid's looking pretty good. Maybe that's what he needed. Get out of Washington, go to a good team, one of the best franchises around, and, that's going to be, you like those storylines, don't you, Ray? You love those storylines.
Well, absolutely. Anytime you're talking about the quarterback, people are going to read it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Bill, I still think whether he's number 2 or number 3, the ideal scenario this year is for him to just sit and learn and hopefully not play at all. I think what you mentioned about that Washington situation, it'd be good for him just to get into one system, learn it, and then not have that pressure of playing. Obviously, if you're the backup, that's probably not going to happen this year. You'll probably be called upon to play a little bit unless they're lucky with injuries. But if he's the number 3, it would give him a chance to sort of have that redshirt year, and I think that would be both good for Dwayne Haskins and possibly good for the Steelers down the road.
All right, final item number 3. I'm a little bit concerned. It seemed like listening to a couple of comments from Ben Roethlisberger, he has some concerns about the chemistry on the offensive line. Should that be a small concern or a big concern?
Well, new offensive line coach Adrian Clem did a little interview session with us last week. I think over the weekend, might have been Saturday. And he said he would like to get his starters out there on Saturday against the Lions so they can develop that chemistry, because it is important for that position group. You need 5 guys working in unison, to make it happen, to get all the line calls right, so everyone's blocked up front. So not sure if that's going to happen. They still might be bringing some guys along slowly with injuries, but if they can get that chemistry down and they can start playing together, I think it's going to be good. And, I think Ben Roethlisberger has a right to be concerned. I think that's his protection. And, they're supposed to lean on that running game this year. And if either of those 2, situations are off, then it's not going to be good for Ben and it's not going to be good for this offense. So pay attention to that Saturday night against the Lions, Bill. If those starters are out there on the offensive line, that'll be good news for the Steelers.
Well, the one thing we don't have to worry about is a surplus of running backs, right? I think they got 15,000 back there.
Yeah, and they seem to like him. So, we talked about trade bait at quarterback. Can you deal one of those guys? You might be able to do that with a running back. I don't know what the return is going to be for a guy like Benny Snell if you want to trade Benny Snell. So we'll have to see where that goes. But, Najee Harris is the guy. He's the starter, but, Snell has experience. Anthony McFarland is having a better training camp than he did last year, and they really like this Kalen Ballage, veteran free agent they picked up from the Chargers. So they are going to have options there. We'll see if they can make a deal and maybe flip one for a draft pick, but they got pretty good depth behind Najee Harris.
Yeah, very good depth. Yeah. So you think our Yankees can beat the Red Sox a doubleheader tomorrow? I'm a Yankee fan now. I'm jumping wagons and boats and everything.
Yeah, is it going to get rained out? It's raining here. I don't know what the forecast is up there, but listen, they're back in contention. Everything is looking positive after that White Sox series, so hopefully they can pull that off.
Yeah, I tell you what, I've seen a lot of great venues, a lot of great games, championship games, Stanley Cup, NBA Finals and stuff. You've seen it, I've done it, but I tell you what, the best 3 hours I've had in my sports life or just life was watching the Field of Dreams with the White Sox and your Yankees. That was good TV. And it was on again the other night, and I watched it again.
Yeah, I missed it because I was covering the preseason game out in Philly, so I got to watch it. But from everything I heard, it was a terrific event, and I guess it was the highest rated baseball game like in a decade.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
I'm sure they'll do it again.
Yeah, and I had a friend. He's a big time lawyer in Chicago. Well, I've never met a poor lawyer, but he's got the money. Believe me, I've seen his house. He's got 5 or 6 sports cars in his driveway. He spent about $16,000 for 2 tickets to go there. How about that?
Yeah, what they have, only 1,500, 2,000 fans in the bleachers?
Yeah, in the bleachers, but they had 8,000 overall, or 7,800.
Okay. So,
and they're already thinking about expanding that stadium, maybe putting up sponsor billboards. Leave it like it was when we watched it last week. Don't do anything different. I didn't like the drones flying around the outfield.
Yeah, I don't want to see any sponsors for that type of game. You should be able to sell that just with, the TV alone. But hey, it's baseball. We know those owners are going to try to milk it for everything they can.
Well, since I'm a Yankee fan now, how about this? Me and you go to Yankee Stadium and watch a game. We can get credentials to go out on the field, and I could look up at you, Ray, and say, Ray, is this heaven?
No, Bill, it's the Bronx.
Yeah, it is. By the way, a sad note for Yankee fans out there. On this date in 1948, a great one, a Baseball Hall of Famer passed away. Babe Ruth died at the age of 53. I thought he was older. He had a great career with the Red Sox before the Red Sox sold him for about $100,000, which was the worst deals ever made. And he smashed 714 home runs, a feat that was not surpassed until the great Henry Aaron of the Braves broke the record in 1974. And at a special Babe Ruth Day just 2 months before his death, the cancer-stricken Ruth donned his uniform for the last time and appeared before a cheering crowd at Yankee Stadium. Babe Ruth, maybe the greatest of all time.
Well, he was pretty good, wasn't he?
I know he liked beer. Nothing wrong. Nothing like having a beer the night before a game, coming to the ballpark a little bit woozy, and hitting a couple of home runs. But that's what they did,
Yep.
All right. I think that's about it, man, because I want to talk to Lola for a couple of minutes. Thanks for all your updates. If we don't talk to you Friday, we'll talk Monday on what happened on Saturday when they play Lola's Detroit Lions.
There you go. That'll be something to talk about.
Well, let's ask her. Lola, you going to watch the game?
Saturday?
Saturday night, 7:35.
We've got tickets for a concert.
Oh, okay. All right. It's only exhibition.
Yeah, she can take them.
Yeah, that's all right. She likes concerts. We all like concerts. I'd rather go to a concert.
It's been a whole, almost 2 years since we could go to one.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. I might see you Saturday, Ray.
All right, Bill. Have a good week. I'll talk to you then.
Wear your credentials, because if you don't have it, you don't get by me. Even though I know you.
All right.
I don't want to get fired, okay?
All right, so I'll talk to you then.
As Bill Belichick would say, just do your job. Thank you, Ray. Talk to you later in the week or Monday, okay?
All right, Bill. I'll see you.
I tell you what, I really was impressed with Haskins. You know, I was a little bit, okay, the first game, okay, you know. The second game, when he played against a couple of starters, he looked very comfortable in the system. But like Ray said, maybe sitting out this year, getting used to the whole system, watching on the bench or whatever, maybe he'll get in some plays. But if you can get something out of Mason Rudolph, I would trade him. I think he needs a new venue. He needs a new team. You know, fans still boo the guy. You know, I'm there when they booed him at Three Rivers, at Heinz Field. So I don't know. He's a good kid, but I think he needs a change of venue. Like Haskins. He's out of the Washington Redskins, one of the worst franchises and one of the worst owners around. Yes, Mr. Snyder, you're one of the worst. And he's with a franchise that's well respected. The first day he was there, he said, I really like it. Joe Schubert said he knew as a Cleveland Brown player how great the Steeler organization was, how they treat people. You know, people don't really leave. People don't really get fired. They've only had 3 coaches there since 1969. I think the Browns have had 22 coaches since 1969. That tells you something about a franchise and its employees. Okay, I'm done harping on the Steelers. When I come back, who am I going to harp on? What's coming up at 2? We're going to Los Angeles, where it's about 11 o'clock. Tim Neverett, the Dodger announcer, will talk about his brand new book that's going to be released very, very soon. I find it interesting. It's called COVID Curveball. Are you confused? I'll let him explain to it. The Dodgers only played 60 games last year and won a World Series thanks to COVID. Is there going to be an asterisk next to the 60 games? I hope not, because the Dodgers won the World Series fair and square. Okay, we're going to take a break, and we'll come back. Oh, by the way, Lola, a non-sports item. Did you see this in the paper? About the city population of Wheeling? It's finally leveling off. Back in 1940, there were 62,000 people here. Let's go to the Pirates winning the World Series in 60. There were 54,000 people in Wheeling. Let's go to 2000, 31,000 people in Wheeling. And according to the U.S. Census Bureau, in 2020, 27,000. I remember some of those big crowds in the 50s, you know, when they had almost 60,000 people, because my aunt and uncle from Bentleyville, used to drive to Wheeling to do our Christmas shopping. And the sidewalks were packed. You name them, they had a ton of stores, okay? Oh, the good old days. It's almost like 25 or 6 to 4. We'll be right back.
Waiting for the break of day, searching for something to say. Flashing lights against the sky, giving up, I close my eyes, sitting cross-legged on the floor.
The Watchdog is FM 98.1, AM 1600 WKKX Wheeling.
The ABC News is brought to you by Thomas Auto Centers, Mall Road, St. Clairsville. Get the best deal at Thomas Auto Centers.
From ABC News, I'm Dave Packer. The White House says President Biden will address the spiraling security crisis in Afghanistan this afternoon. The Taliban now control the entire nation. The Afghan ambassador to the United Nations, Ghulam Izzi, says there are already reports of targeted killings in the capital.
The situation in Kabul, a city of about 6 million people, is extremely worrying, to say the least.
Women in fear absent from the streets of Afghanistan. Author Gail Lamont.
I was just talking to a young woman who said, they were told not to come to university, not to go to work.
And with no place else to go, people rushing to Kabul airport, where U.S. forces are evacuating Americans and allies. The tarmac overrun with the desperate, some clinging to planes as they took off. ABC Chief Global Affairs anchor Martha Raddatz.
I am in touch with people there. They are desperate to get out. And people who look at this and think there are bad things happening all over the world, many of these people were interpreters. They helped Americans during the last 20 years, and Americans have abandoned them.
The Taliban offensive stunned American officials. Days ago, a U.S. military assessment predicted it could take months for the capital to fall. Disaster relief teams are arriving in Haiti with food, water, and relief supplies. After last week's devastating earthquake, officials have raised the death toll to at least 1,297. Tropical Depression Grace predicted to arrive tonight. That could bring flooding and landslides. The White House COVID data director now reporting 70% of all eligible Americans have at least one vaccine dose. This amid escalating fights over masking requirements at schools. Dr. James Verslovic with the Texas Children's Hospital is backing school districts requiring mask wearing against the governor's order.
Children under 12 years of age still do not have access to the vaccine, and many teenagers, vast majority of teenagers in this region, still unvaccinated.
Stocks climbing after starting in negative territory. The Dow still down 11 points. You're listening to ABC News.
If you owe the IRS back taxes, then get ready to pay up. The IRS has giant private collection agencies actively tracking down folks who owe the IRS. So if you think dodging them was stressful in the past, it's going to get a whole lot tougher. Optima Tax Relief has this advice. Don't wait. Solve your tax problems now before it's too late. Optima Tax Relief works to stop the demand letters, stop the aggressive collection actions, and stop the IRS collectors from targeting you. Ask Optima about the Fresh Start Initiative, one of the biggest breaks the IRS has ever offered. If you qualify, you could save thousands, and nobody knows this program better than they do. Optima is A+ rated with the Better Business Bureau, and they get results, having resolved over $1 billion of tax debt for their clients. Get a fresh start. Call today for your free consultation.
Call 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
The government has opened a formal investigation into Tesla's autopilot driving system.
What the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration wants to know, does Tesla's autopilot system have trouble spotting parked emergency vehicles? The government has identified 11 crashes since 2018 in which Tesla's autopilot or cruise control have hit vehicles with flashing lights, flares, or cones warning of hazards. Several people driving Teslas have also been pulled over or gotten into crashes while using autopilot from the passenger seat or even the back seat. Sherry Preston, ABC News.
Tropical storm Fred about to make landfall in the Florida Panhandle. ABC's Rob Marciano is in Panama Beach.
The main impact here in the Florida Panhandle is Fred. 50-mile-an-hour wind as it makes its approach to the Florida Panhandle, making landfall somewhere between Pensacola and Apalachicola. The main threats of this are going to be flooding, tornadoes. We have tropical storm warnings that are well inland into Alabama and Georgia, and then flood warnings all the way to Atlanta.
42 million people receiving the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, or food stamps, are getting more of it. The Biden administration has approved a permanent increase of more than 25%. The average per-person monthly benefit will rise from $121 to $157. That starts in October. Construction officially started today on President Barack Obama's presidential center in Chicago. This is ABC News.
The pandemic's reminded us we live in a sea of airborne germs that can assault us with every breath. Your nose is the body's first line of defense by helping filter out allergens, bacteria, and viruses before they reach your lungs. So how do you clean your nose? Navage uses powered suction to flush out mucus and germs that cause congestion, or worse, can make you sick. Over 2 million people use Navage to breathe better, sleep deeper, snore less, and feel healthier without drugs. Go to Navage.com or find Navage at Walgreens, CVS, Rite Aid, Bed Bath, and Target.
Dave Packer, ABC News.
This is ONN.
Just northeast of Columbus, New Albany public schools are not requiring masks as classes resume this week, and some parents held a protest over the weekend. Lacey Crisp with affiliate station WBNS-TV in Columbus reports.
One mom says they choose to protest because they feel they're not being heard.
There's a large group of parents who want a mask requirement at New Albany public schools. We're speaking for
a lot of people. And we reached out to the district for a comment, and a spokesman says, quote, "We have implemented the recommendations of the Ohio Department of Health, including strongly recommending masking for the unvaccinated. The district will continue to review information presented by parents for response."
Lacey Chris in Columbus.
And the medical advisor for the Biden administration continued to push for vaccinations over the weekend as the Delta variant of the coronavirus continues to spread. Karina Nova has more.
Dr. Anthony Fauci is asking unvaccinated Americans to put aside their concerns for the greater good.
Put aside all of these issues of concern about personal liberties and realize we have a common enemy. And that common enemy is the virus. And we really have to all pull together to get on top of this. Otherwise, we're going to continue to suffer as we're seeing right now.
Here in Ohio, the Ohio Department of Health reported 1,977 new cases of COVID-19 on Sunday. I'm Karina Nova.
And I'm Daniel Barnett on the Ohio News Network.
Thank you for riding with the Watchdog. Live and local. Just the way you like it.
Who wants craft beer? Saturday, August 21st, the Mountaineer Brewfest is back at Wheeling Heritage Port, showcasing craft beers from West Virginia's finest brewers. With great food, live entertainment, and many more craft beer selections in our beer garden, it's a wild and wonderful time, and you don't want to miss out. Proceeds benefit a Special Wish Foundation. Get your tickets now at MountaineerBrewfest.com. Brought to you by Wheeling Island Hotel, Casino, Racetrack, and the UPS Store.
Save big money with 11% off everything now at Menards, your home improvement store. The 6-inch new construction recessed housing makes installing recessed lights safe and simple. It features airtight construction with built-in push-in connectors for easy wiring. All Lithonia lighting, utility, recessed housings, and trims are 11% off now at Menards. Good through August 21st. Savings are mail-in rebate. Some exclusions apply. See store for details.
Save big money at Menards.
Toyota's national sales event is happening now, with savings and reliability you can count on. So check out an adventure-ready gas model RAV4 or a spacious Highlander that seats up to 8, both with up to $750 cash back. Or an all-wheel drive Venza hybrid, now with $1,000 cash back. Visit buyatoyota.com for more great deals. You can take cash back or apply toward down payment. Offers may vary for hybrid models. See your dealer for details. Offers end September 7th. Toyota, let's go places.
Hello, everyone. From the Watchdog, I'm the Storm Tracker, Darnell Foster. With a look at your local weather forecast for your start to the work week. Mix of sun and clouds with scattered showers and storms possibly. A daytime high near 75. Scattered showers through the evening, the overnight. Temperatures down to about 68 for the low. Chance for showers and storms for your Tuesday. Otherwise, times of clouds and sunshine, with temperatures in the mid to upper 70s. Have yourself a great day, everyone. From the Watchdog, I'm Darnell Foster.
The views and opinions expressed on the following program are not necessarily those of this station or its sponsors.
There is nothing wrong with your television set. Do not attempt to adjust the picture. We are controlling transmission. If we wish to make it louder, we will bring up the volume. If we wish to make it softer, we will tune it to a whisper. We will control the horizontal. We will control the vertical. We can roll the image, make it flutter. We can change the focus to a soft blur, or sharpen it to crystal clarity. For the next hour, sit quietly and we will control all that you see and hear. We repeat, there is nothing wrong with your television set. You are about to participate in a great adventure. You are about to experience the awe and mystery which reaches from the inner mind to the outer limits.
Now it's time for Bill DeFabio on AM 1600 WKKX, The Watchdog.
Was so much colder then. My father was a soldier then, and times were very hard when I was young. cigarette at 10. And for girls, I had a bad yen. And I had quite a ball when I was young.
Oh, when I was young, all the baseball cards I had in the 50s. Mays, Aaron. I didn't like those guys, so I threw them against the wall, in a game. Ruined a lot of future money. I didn't know. But I'll tell you what. Tim, I don't know if you know this. Tim of Los Angeles Dodgers radio broadcast, former Pirate broadcaster, former Red Sox broadcaster. I'm jealous because he has 2 different World Series rings with 2 different teams. You talk about a guy really hitting the pot of gold. Tim, if I were you, I'd start looking for a job. Because I sold that Honus Wagner card for $6 million, and I just bought your Dodgers. So, like Mike Lang, you are leaving the building with a severance check of $2 million. Deal?
Really?
Yeah.
Show me the money.
Well, I forgot to tell you, it's monopoly money. What do you think of that? A piece of cardboard, $6 million. And there's going to be somebody going to buy that for $8 million or whatever.
Yeah, but it's Honus Wagner, it's
Have
one
you
of the
se-
great pirates of all time.
Have you seen the card? It's about as big as a match or forever stamp. It's a little card.
Yeah, I did see a photo of it, and I'm just glad somebody else bought it.
I don't really want to talk baseball. I mean, there's not much positive I can say about the Pirates unless somebody goes out and throws a no-hitter tonight. You know what I mean? Like we need another no-hitter, but the Pirates are playing your Dodgers, 3-game series?
3-game series starting tonight at Dodger Stadium. Dodgers coming off a 3-game sweep in New York against the Mets. They had to fly cross country last night. Probably get in at 4:30, 5 o'clock in the morning, and then they'll just kind of turn it around and get back to the ballpark tonight. And they've got a bullpen game, so they don't have a starter for tonight. We don't know who it is yet. We'll find out in a little while, hopefully. And then I think Stephen Brault's going for the Pirates.
Yes, yeah. You have that famous pitcher, TBD,
Yeah, well, it's a funny story because so if he listed as TBA to be announced, Terry Francona used to have a saying. He'd say, "Hey, Peter, who's pitching tomorrow?" He'd go, "Joe Tebow. Tebow's pitching tomorrow." And so he'd never tell you. But that's kind of what we're looking at right now. We'll get word pretty soon, and we've got another bullpen game on Wednesday, so we've got to try to get Clayton Kershaw back from injury. He's still out. He's going to be out for several more weeks, I think. He'll start to throw today, but he'll be out for a few more weeks. And we've got 3 really good starters that they can count on at this point in time. Julio Urias, who's going to skip a start during this series and then be back for the Padres series. And then, of course, Walker Buehler, and who pitched last night, Max Scherzer, who's really, really good.
Yeah. Well, Lola, my producer, is from Michigan, and she was a big fan of Max when he was wearing the Detroit Tiger uniform. Now, I don't think if Max asked her out for a beer, she would say yes. Would you, Lola? Would you have a beer with Max?
Absolutely, I would.
Okay.
I'd love to look in those dual-colored eyes.
When you got him, I said, the rich get richer. But you know what? You're built to win now because you went all those years without a World Series championship. Before last year, what was it, 1988?
That's it. That's when it was, 88.
With one of the greatest videos of all time, Kirk Gibson.
Yep, absolutely. Dennis Eckersley got the sign from Ron Hassey on a 3-2 count. He wanted a backdoor slider. That was the scouting report. That's what you threw Kirk Gibson on a 3-2 count, was a backdoor slider. Well, he threw that. It was mislocated, and Gibson, who was basically hobbling on one leg, barreled it up and hit it out. It was one of the most amazing moments in baseball history.
Yeah. Was that a Vin Scully call? I think it was, wasn't it?
I'm sure. Yeah.
On MLB?
Yeah, it was, yeah. No, he was doing the national game on NBC.
Okay. All right. He's one of the all-time greats. I was introduced to him a long time ago by a guy named Bob Prince. We lost another icon announcer. Mr. Cope, gone. Mr. Prince, gone. He's still alive, but he's going to be out of the broadcast booth. And I'm sure you might have met him in the past, Mike Lang.
Yeah, Mike, I got to know Mike a little bit when I was in Pittsburgh, and actually saw him one time during spring training. Myself and a couple of my colleagues who you also know, we met Mike after one of our spring training games down in Bradenton, and the Penguins were in Tampa Bay to play the Lightning, so Mike came down to visit, and we had a lot of fun. And he's just such such an amazing piece of Pittsburgh broadcasting history. Every time I hear him, I want to scratch my back with a hacksaw. He's unbelievable,
I want to comb my hair with a hacksaw. Okay.
No, he's great, and I wish him the very, very best. And I know that Pittsburgh will miss him on the air, but he is certainly one of a kind. And it's not just Pittsburgh; it's all around the National Hockey League. He was exceptionally well known.
Yeah, just like baseball. Bob Prince was well liked everywhere.
Yeah,
Myron Coe,
everywhere.
as crazy as he was, people loved him.
Yeah, and the thing about Mike was that he had this really, really old, outdated headset and microphone that he would wear, and he wouldn't give it up.
Nope.
No, the newer ones were better. They sounded better. No, he wanted that one, and he used it up until the last day he broadcast the Penguins.
Yeah.
And he just, there's so many great things about him, and I'll miss listening to him for sure.
All right. I don't know if this is going to be a preview for a Clint Eastwood movie, because he did a movie about a guy in a curveball or whatever. COVID Curveball. Is that the name of your book?
It is. COVID Curveball. It's an inside look at the 2020 Dodgers World Championship season. I wrote it in real time, day to day, as things were happening last year, and it is going to be released in 2 weeks on August 31st. It's available now on Amazon in all hardcover, Kindle, and also now an audiobook. So it's getting a lot of attention right now, which is good because it's a very unique take on the COVID baseball season from last year and all the things that went on behind the scenes.
Yeah, I just hope we don't see in record books, they won the World Series. They only played 60 games. Nobody better put an asterisk by that championship. I don't think that'll happen.
No, I agree. And I'll tell you why, because I lived through it. And I can tell you this, it was more difficult to pull off a 60-game season in postseason last year than it has been to pull off the season this year. I mean, we're at, game number 118 or 119 tonight?
Yep.
And it's gone by in a flash compared to last year. And we still have protocols we have to follow. We're still not traveling. Like, I know the Pirates radio will travel. I'll see Joe Block and John Wayner tonight at the ballpark, and I'll give them a hug probably because we don't see visiting broadcasters very much. The Houston Astros came in, but that's been it. But we're not traveling, and we still have to wear masks all around the ballpark. There's still protocols we have to follow, but it's not nearly as strict as it was. And it was very difficult to get through that season. And for the Dodgers to not have a positive test until Game 6 of the World Series was a testament to how seriously they took the mandates from Major League Baseball and the health and safety protocols that allowed them to play every night and allowed them to win the World Series. So I think that people go, oh, it's a Mickey Mouse championship. Well, it really isn't. I mean, everybody else had to play by the same rules.
Yep.
We're going through one of the worst years our country has seen, and the Dodgers were able to prevail. But there's a lot of other baseball stories in there, too. There's a lot of mentions of the Pirates days and some Pirate stories, and, things like that are in there as well. Some stories I've never told before, it's a look back to last year on a day-by-day basis, and something that, the forward is written by Oral Hershiser.
There's a good one.
Forward.
Yeah.
And he threw the last pitch in the World Series for the Dodgers in 1988. So he kind of bridges that time to 2020 and what it was like, what the differences and the similarities. Really takes you inside his mind, and he did a wonderful job with the forward. I think people really enjoy reading what he had to say.
Yeah, you know what? I know I'm a little bit crazy, but I'm not stupid. Well, maybe I am both. But I'm looking at the Giants roster, full roster. I'm looking at the Dodgers roster. On paper, you ought to be kicking their ass, but you trail first place by 4 games. Why are the Giants good? I mean, the Pirates, I think, swept them once, or took 2 out of 3 in Pittsburgh. Why are they good? Or they're just hitting a point where everything's going their way?
They're at a point. They're having one of those seasons where everything's going their way. They just completed a series with the Diamondbacks where they probably should have lost 2 of those games, and the Diamondbacks gifted them the games. They've had a lot of good fortune. They've had a lot of things go their way. They're talented. They had great pitching through most of the season. Now it's stumbling a little bit. The Dodgers hope that they can still catch them. They still definitely mathematically can. It's not going to be easy, but they can do it. The Dodgers have had a lot of, poorly timed injuries, too, and that's not an excuse. Everybody's had injuries. The Giants really haven't had anything of consequence. Yeah. I know Johnny Cueto's on the IL right now, but he'll be back soon. Yeah. but it's just one of those years where it's just making for a great pennant race. I still think the Dodgers have a great chance to win the division, and even if they don't, they've got a stranglehold on that first wild card spot. So the postseason is a strong possibility for the Dodgers, but they still have a chance to win the division.
Now, the wild card, is it first round just one game, or is it best of three? What is it this year?
We're going back to the one-game playoff.
I hate that. I hate that.
You know what? One thing I did like about the COVID season is we had 2 out of 3 in the wild card, and I really would like to see 2 out of 3. I really would.
I think that's fair. That's fair.
You know, as we all know, and we witnessed in Pittsburgh, anything can happen. I mean, 2015, you got to be kidding me. I mean, you know, you're one and done after a season like that the Pirates had.
Yeah.
And you catch Jake Arrieta at his best possible moment.
By the way, he's looking for a job. Do you want him?
No, he's got a job. The Padres signed him today.
Oh, did they? Okay. Because he's
gonna
older than
start
dirt.
Wednesday.
Okay.
Yeah, he's going to start Wednesday against Colorado. They've already announced that.
All right. I thought maybe the Red Sox would want him, but that's another story. I like 2 out of 3. I think that's only fair. One game, you never know. You could have 2 of the greatest pitchers around, and one of them's going to lose, or whatever. You know, it's a game of breaks. 2 out of 3. Yeah, I like that, but you know, baseball is baseball.
I think what they should do, Bill, is they should have it over 2 days at the same ballpark with no travel. In other words, you have game 1, and then if you need another one, you have at least a doubleheader the next day. If you need to have a third game, you wait 3 hours, play the third game, and do it that way. I think you could get it done in 2 days. But if you're the home team in the wild card situation, you have it at your home ballpark. You have home field advantage. You earned it. So I think they should just add one more day, one more 24-hour period to the wild card situation, and play 2 out of 3. And you can do a single game, another single game if you need it, and if you have to have that third game if necessary, you play it at night.
Yeah, that's a great idea. You ought to run for commissioner someday.
No, thank you.
You get a lot of perks. You don't pay for any food. You get limo service. Yeah. Hey, what do you think of this crazy idea? I always like crazy ideas because if I come up with 100 of them, maybe 2 of them will make sense. Next year, Field of Dreams, Cornfields of Iowa, one of the established teams, oldest teams, the Pirates, taking on the Brooklyn/LA Dodgers. What do you think?
Well, you know, it's interesting. You know, I know in the past the Pirates have generally played pretty well out west. I know, you know, they played well in San Francisco. I've been with them when they've had good series. I've been with them when they swept the Dodgers in LA. So, you know, they've had good series, and I just hope that this isn't a series that the Dodgers, you know, take their opponent for granted because they're a Major League Ball club. They're not having the wins that they want to have. They're not having the season they want to have. So you just never know. But that's the thing about Major League Baseball. When you show up to the park, you never know what you're going to see. And, you know, Pirates are trying to win a ball game. Dodgers are trying to win a ball game. Dodgers going to be, you know, again, going with a bullpen game, so they're a little pitching challenge tonight. But, you know, we'll see. You got to play the games, and that's the thing. You know, you have to play the games. They're scheduled. You can't automatically put a W next to them when they're not played yet.
What'd you think of the Field of Dreams game? I watched it again, and I'll probably watch it again and again.
I thought it was great. I thought I thought Fox did a wonderful job with the cameras, the jib cameras, and the drone cameras, and the aesthetics were incredible. I really think that they really hit on this one. This was a wonderful, wonderful event. They did everything right, and the game itself turned out to be a great game. Walk-off home run by Tim Anderson of the White Sox. The players coming out of the corn and then meeting Kevin Costner on the field. All the things that happened start to finish were wonderful. I think it was a really great night for baseball, and I think the ratings showed it. They had more than 5.9 million viewers, which was the highest rated regular season baseball game in years. And I'd love to see the next one. I hope the Dodgers can be part of that someday. I think it'd be a really cool experience.
Yeah, you know what? I don't want to see the Pirates there because can you imagine the Pirates with their current roster coming out of the cornfield? The fans would say, who the hell are these guys? You know, they only have 1 or 2 players you can recognize. So I'm changing it to this. The old Brooklyn Dodgers and the old New York Giants. How about that? With their old uniforms.
Yeah, that would be pretty cool, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
I think that might be on the radar.
You got two big time TV markets, you know?
Yeah, my gut tells me it's probably going to be like Cubs Cardinals next. You know,
Oh,
they're
yeah.
also two old school teams, and the Cubs are, you know, they're followed heavily in Iowa. They're AAA teams in Des Moines, plus they get their games in the Midwest. I would tend to guess if they were going to go in that direction next, that would be a possibility, because the Cubs and Cardinals were supposed to play in London last year.
Yep.
Remember,
that's
2
right.
years ago, the Yankees and Red Sox played 2 games there, and then the Cubs Cardinals are going to be in 2020, but COVID canceled that. So my guess is they might see that, but I would love to see the old Giants and Dodgers playing in the cornfield. That'd be pretty neat.
Then down the road, you know, you have the Boston Red Sox and Atlanta Braves, who used to be the Boston Braves. We could go on and on with this, but we won't.
You could. I think they'll have a lot of fun with it. And I think, like, the White Sox uniforms
love them.
really were perfect. You know, the Yankees uniforms were great, but I thought the White Sox uniforms were perfect from the era. And the way the players wore them, I mean, it was kind of like turning back the clock, but with modern television. That was fantastic.
By the way, I was not one of those guys or many guys that paid $8,000 for a seat.
You stayed home and watched it for free like the rest of us, right?
Now, if the Pirates are there, you know, I get a press pass. But then if I'm driving from the airport, I'd get lost probably in the cornfield.
Yeah, it's not right next to the airport either.
No,
It'll take a little while to get there.
No, but that was great TV, and I'm going to watch it again. I'll watch it 3 or 4 more times, because I watched, what did I watch last night? The Natural. So, you know, I got a kick out of that movie. By the way, I have 2 seats from that stadium. Rick Cerrone, I don't know if you know the name, former Pirate PR guy, made a lot of money with my news service for the Pirates. I got those seats from him with a letter and everything. He was Richard Cerrone, technical advisor. And he tells me a lot of stories about, especially with Robert Redford had to stand on a milk carton because all the actors and actresses were taller than him. And Joe Charbonneau, who was a coach for the Washington Wild Things, was the batting instructor. And I think he got like $8,000. And he was telling me how that bat boy was a big pain in the butt. He had to have his own trailer and everything, and food sent to him. I don't know, whatever. I like the movie, watch it over and over again. But you know what? If I'm in L.A. with you, and I've used this all morning with my venues with my guys, if I'm in L.A. with you and you take me down on the field to show me where Stargell hit that home run over the scoreboard, I'm going to look up at you, Tim, and say, Tim, is this heaven?
Well, as they say in Dodgerland, it's blue heaven on earth. And
no, they don't say that, do they?
Absolutely, they do. That's a Tommy Lasorda phrase, and they've kind of run with that. It's true. But when you go to Dodger Stadium, if you go to the right field pavilion,
yes,
and you go to the back side of it, there are not one but 2 signs that commemorate where Willie Stargell hit it over the pavilion.
Wow.
And it's got the distance and everything, 500 and something feet. And it's really neat to see. I think only 4 or 5 men have ever put one over the pavilion. Mike Piazza did it. I think.
Greg Luzinski? Oh, no, he went in the upper deck at Three Rivers. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, he didn't do it. I'm trying to remember who else did it. But anyway, but Willie Stargell's the only person to hit 2 completely out of Dodger Stadium.
Yeah, and I forgot the guy's name. Boots Day. He played for Montreal Expos, and now he's in the Frontier League. He's a first base coach, I think, for Evansville. And he says, don't you dare mention my name, Bill. And I do. Ladies and gentlemen, your first base coach, number 9, Boots Day. Boots played against Roberto Clemente, and he always gets a standing ovation. He's not going to hit me because he's just a frail old guy. But he'll see me after the game. He says, thanks, man, they remembered me. I said, yeah, but I had to mention Clemente. You know what I mean, Boots? There's a name for you, Boots Day. Come on. What was his parents thinking? Let's name our kid Boots. Okay. Hey, Tim, I'm going to promote your book because I think it's going to be a good one. It's unique. It's different. It takes place. If you kept track every day, you're going to have a lot of great stories. So 8/31, people can start buying the book. It's about the LA Dodgers winning the World Series, playing just 60 games, and it's called COVID Curveball. Clint Eastwood, if you're listening, this sounds like a great sports movie. Thank you, Tim.
Thank you very much, Bill. I appreciate it. And check out the series. Stay up late. Watch the Buccos. See what happens.
All right. Never know. Might have a no-hitter, right?
You never know what you're going to see. In fact, real quick, you never know what you're going to see when you go to the ballpark. Last night in New York, we saw a position player relieve a position player on the mound. Never seen that before.
You're kidding me.
No,
Wow.
no. Yeah, Brandon Drury of the Mets couldn't get out of an inning, and they brought in Kevin Pillar to finish the inning. I've never seen a position player relieve a position player in an inning in a blowout game. It was like, wow. You just like, you can go from that to a no-hitter to a perfect game. We saw the no-hitter in Arizona the other day, guy making his first Major League start. That's the beauty of Major League Baseball. You never know what's going to happen when you go to a park.
And a Pirate player, I think it was Brian Reynolds, hit 5 doubles the other day.
Yeah.
All right. Hey, Blue Heaven on Earth. That's the name for
That's
Dodger
it.
Stadium. I'm going to use that. Take credit for it.
All right.
Thank you, man.
Thanks, Bill.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
COVID curveball. I can't wait to read it. Hope it has a lot of pictures. We'll be back with Army, the head coach of the Nailers. We'll talk about everything with Army, as long as you don't talk about his Yankees. We'll be right back.
The Metro News Update is brought to you by Thomas Auto Centers, Mall Road, St. Clairsville. Get the best deal at Thomas Auto Centers.
West Virginia Metro News. I'm Chris Lawrence. At CAMC in Charleston, the number of COVID patients continues to rise. Dr. Fred Kern appeared on a recent edition of Metro News Talkline, sharing what he is seeing amid those who are infected.
A younger population, a unvaccinated population, a population that's often done something, major wedding, concert, something that put them in an environment where they had a lot of exposure.
Governor Jim Justice providing an update on the COVID response in his briefing this hour. You can watch it live at WVMetroNews.com. West Virginia is among the first states to get the COVID booster shot. The Kanawha Charleston Health Department reopened its free COVID vaccination and testing clinic over the weekend to administer that third shot to those who have compromised immune systems. A Sunday fire in Taylor County has left a man injured. Authorities say that victim drove himself to the hospital for treatment. The blaze occurred about 2:45 Sunday afternoon at a home on Shelby Run Road in Grafton. An investigation into what caused the fire is underway. In Berkeley County, a Maryland man has now admitted to a federal drug charge in Martinsburg Federal Court. 44-year-old Antonio Darden, who's from Morgansville, Maryland, pleaded guilty to possession with intent to distribute cocaine hydrochloride and now faces up to 20 years in federal prison. You're listening to Metro News, the voice of West Virginia. Tamarack is reopening services in its restaurant today. Dining was shut down last week when a worker in the shop was diagnosed with COVID. Officials say since then the kitchen has been completely cleaned and sanitized for the safety of patrons. Water service has been restored at the North Central Regional Jail in Doddridge County. A broken water line servicing the lockup forced them to shut down last week. Inmates were provided with bottled water, while a portable water tank was set up for service of the jail's food service area. From the Metro News Anchor Desk, I'm Chris Lawrence.
AutomotiveMap.com presents the Sports Flash, powered by the Score on the Watchdog. I'm John Thayer. In the NASCAR Cup Series this weekend at Indianapolis Motor Speedway Road Course for the Verizon 200 at the Brickyard, A.J. Allmendinger, the winner. He was ahead of Ryan Blaney and Kyle Larson, while Chase Elliott and Matt DiBenedetto rounded out the top 5. The NASCAR Cup Series heads to Michigan on Sunday. Kevin Kisner was the winner of the Wyndham Championship over the weekend, securing his spot in the FedEx Cup playoffs. He defeated 5 others in a 6-man playoff. All 6 golfers got par on the first playoff hole before Kisner birdied on the second playoff hole. FedEx playoffs begin this week. Download the Score app today. Lightning fast sports alerts so you never miss a thing. I'm John Thayer with the Sports Flash, powered by the Score on the Watchdog.
Liberty Mutual Insurance Company presents and Doug.
Check it out, Limu, a roadside carnival.
Step right up, folks. Test your strength. Come see the fire-breathing baby.
Let's fan out and tell people that Liberty Mutual customizes your car insurance so you only pay for what you need.
Look, an emu wearing sunglasses.
Limu, you're famous. Only pay for what you need.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
It's like I blinked and suddenly all my business shifted to e-commerce.
Now my business hours are whenever my customers need me.
My customers want everything now and faster than ever. It's a whole different world.
Your business is changing. The United States Postal Service is changing with it. We're bringing you fast, reliable shipping nationwide. And we're bringing it right when your customers need it. Let's discover new routes. Visit USPS.com/new routes. The United States Postal Service. Priority, you.
Over the years, you've brought opioids into your home. They helped when you were in pain, and you held on to them just in case. But holding on to opioids puts your family at risk. Learn more at www.fda.gov/drug disposal.
Welcome to the 54th National Tractor Pulling Championships Reloaded, the largest truck and tractor pull in the world with 11,000 reserved seats and 2,100 campsites. Watch pullers from across the world compete for the coveted NTPC Championship ring. Rich in history, home to hospitality. Experience the power of the pulls. August 19th, 20th, and 21st in Bowling Green, Ohio. Purchase your tickets today.
As the world gets back on track, now's the time to look forward and make bold, life-changing decisions. If you're ready to complete your college degree or pursue your master's like an MBA, Ohio Dominican University offers a range of innovative programs that match your goals. And with both fully online and on-campus evening formats available, pursuing your degree at ODU also fits your life. Classes are forming now. Get started at ohiodominican.edu. That's ohiodominican.edu.
Plumbers and Steam Fitters Local 83 want to thank the owners and contractors of the Ohio Valley for using their locally trained workers to help build for the future. Local 83 helps design, fabricate, and build the gas infrastructure for the oil and gas industry here in the Ohio Valley. Plumbers and Steam Fitters Local 83 is 300 members strong and growing. They also do residential, commercial, and industrial work on both sides of the river. For more information, call Plumbers and Steam Fitters Local 83 at 304-233-4445.
Introducing our new redesigned 7 News app. Our new app features a sleek, modern design, an easy-to-navigate home screen with quick access to local news content and a localized weather forecast. Subscribing to notifications is easier, and with one tap, you have access to recent push notifications. There are more ways to watch and find video. To get the new WTRF 7 News app, just update the latest version or download the WTRF 7 News app in your Apple or Google Play Store by searching WTRF.
Toyota's national sales event is happening now with savings and reliability you can count on. So check out an adventure-ready gas model RAV4 with up to $750 cash back, or a stylish 22 Corolla with up to $500 cash back, or go with a sporty Camry with up to $1,000 cash back. Visit buyatoyota.com and find a dealer near you. You can take cash back or apply to a down payment. Offers may vary for hybrid models. See your dealer for details. Offers end September 7th. Toyota, let's go places.
This is Hoppy Kercheval. Join me weekdays at 10 o'clock right after the Watchdog Morning Show with Howard Monroe for Talkline. I have guests, conversations, texts, phone calls on all the big stories affecting us in West Virginia. So tune in weekdays right here on FM 98.1 and FM 97.7, The Watchdog.
Glory Days. That'll be the theme song of the Nailers when they win a championship this year. Nothing like Bill DeFabio putting a lot of pressure on our next guest, Derek Army. All right, you got to win a championship, Derek, so I can play Glory Days.
I'm in on that. If you insist that we win a championship, you twist my arm, we'll go get one.
Okay, well, I've been saying that for 3 or 4 years, especially after 2016 when I said this is the year. Hey, where's our friend DJ? Is he still in Vegas?
He's still in Vegas. So only God knows what DJ's up to right now.
Well, he don't look like a gambler, man. It looks like he made his first quarter, selling pop bottles, There's a reason why a former Nailers coach, okay, called him Mr. Alligator Arms, okay? There's a reason for that. Actually, he bought Lola and I cheeseburgers because I forced him to do that one day.
That's fair. Yeah, I can't see him gambling much. Like, picturing DJ at a craps table is not where I see him.
No. Or playing, 21 Jack? What's that called?
Yes, blackjack.
Blackjack. I can't see.
Blackjack table.
First time he would lose, he says, "Oh no, I'm not selling my house." No. I hope he's taking care of. I guess a lot of the restaurants you can still have breakfast and dinner reasonable as long as you spend some money gambling. So.
Yeah, he's probably there's probably someone who's gambling a lot. And he's just piggyback and get a free meal out of it.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's DJ. Hey, you got to do what you got to do, right?
Oh yeah, for sure.
But he told me he texted me last night because I lost your number. I always seem to lose contact numbers after a month or so. I don't know if I don't know how to use my smartphone or my smartphone is getting mad at me because I've thrown it up against the wall a couple times.
That's too.
Yeah. I'm talking to you. I'm talking to you, phone.
That's so funny. Well, you should save my number so once a month you send me a text so that way it doesn't leave that way the number doesn't leave your phone.
Oh, what am I going to text you? Another loss? How about those Yankees? No, I'm not going to do that.
Well, you wouldn't be saying loss right now for them.
Well, you haven't lost anything right now with your Nailers because you haven't played, so you're
0-0.
You're 0-0. I don't know if I talked to you the last time about your scheduling. How unique is it? The Penguins, your mother lode, they're going to Tampa, their first game of the year, and I'm pretty sure if I was a player on the Penguins, I'd be watching the celebration of the banner. Are you going to tell your guys to watch the celebration of Fort Wayne, or are you going to tell them to stay in the locker room?
I'll say stay in the locker room. Well, it depends what they do. Like, we'll see what they say on the sheet. Like, I would imagine they'll have they'll do their celebration thing, and then we'll have both teams on the ice when they'll do their banner. I'm sure we'll have to be on the ice to see the banner raise, which I guess will probably make you even hungrier to get one.
Well, I think it's a great incentive. Like, your guys can say, "Hey, man, we can do that. We could do that. Let's all work together."
Yes, 100%.
Derek's going to go out and get us the best guys that money can buy. Well, I can't say that. Derek's going to go out and get the best. Can't believe I said that. Go out and get the best. Here's one thing. I just don't want to see a lot of injuries on the mother load or the backup team, Wilkes-Barre, because the Penguins will get somebody from Wilkes-Barre, then Wilkes-Barre will take a couple of your good players. I don't want to see that at all.
And that's always the hardest thing is when you're watching a Pittsburgh game and all of a sudden you see an injury, you're like, oh, no, here's the call. Then you wait it to be about 20 minutes, and then you get the call, and it's like, hey, we need this guy. And you're like, well, there we go.
All right. It sounds like you're drowning in water. What, are you on a speakerphone?
No, I'm not a speakerphone.
Okay. All right.
I apologize for that. I wasn't drowning, so don't worry.
Did you pay your phone bill?
I paid my phone bill, of course. Come on.
Okay. All right. Yeah, Deej sent me some. He says, I'm going through a lot of marketing and product stuff for, ideas for the Nailers. So he'll come back with a whole book full of ideas, or his cell phone or computer filled with ideas, and it'll make an event. Almost every game is an event with the Wheeling Nailers or the Pittsburgh Penguins or any sports franchise. I can't wait to do the games tomorrow Wednesday. There's a doubleheader at the Wild Things, and it's seniors night.
Oh!
Yeah. I get in free. Oh, I get in free anyhow.
That's a fun night right there.
Oh, yeah. We just had Disney night. It was cool stuff, and we had all kinds of superheroes night. I don't know why, but our biggest night was, you ready? 2,900 fans? Harry Potter night.
Wow.
I thought Harry Potter passed away in the movie theaters years ago. He's as popular now as ever.
Yeah, they're going to milk that for everything it's worth, which they should. It's unbelievable how much loyalty he has.
Yeah. And then we had a mug night. We gave away with the logo on a mug, 22-ounce mug. If you take that 22-ounce mug to Stoney's Beer Wagon, which is right below my press box, you can fill it up to the top, 22 ounces of Stoney's beer for $3.
Wow.
All those little ideas,
Not a bad idea at all.
And then we do a strikeout thing. We pick out a batter. Okay, say it's Derek Army.
Yep.
Now batting, 00, Derek Army. Derek is our beer batter. If he strikes out, everybody can get a $2 is it pint of Stoney's beer at the beer wagon. People start lining up while you're at the bat, and they hate it. The batters think about it, which is an advantage for us. But if they strike
That's
out,
unreal.
if they strike out, you should see that line.
I bet. That's so awesome.
Yeah.
What a gimmick there.
When are you coming up to throw out the first pitch?
I'll be back in a week.
Okay, we'll make an arrangement because there's only like 14 games left.
Yeah, of course. Well, I mean, after watching the Field of Dreams game, they got to. You guys might have to do a little Field of Dreams dedication going.
Well, I was thinking Pirates and Brooklyn Dodgers because both are old franchises. Brooklyn's now L.A. I think the Pirates are the third oldest franchise in baseball. But, we just had the voice of the L.A. Dodgers on. He used to be with the Red Sox and the Pirates. And he said probably it would be Chicago Cubs and the St. Louis Cardinals.
Oh, yeah.
Because that's a rivalry like Cleveland and Pittsburgh or Baltimore and Pittsburgh in football.
Yes.
You guys in hockey can't really do a Ice of Dreams, can you?
No, that would be awesome, though. DJ and I were talking because he was texting me, and he's like, do you think there's any way we could do something, of that magnitude? I was like, if you could think of something like that, that would be unbelievable.
Yeah, well, he's thinking. That's why we're smelling smoke from Las Vegas. His brain cells are working.
Oh, that's too funny.
I don't think we could do it in football. I don't know. No, because, you can't use today's players because they probably get hurt and there'd be a lot of problems. A lot of the old guys that I know from the 70s, 80s, and 90s can't walk. So baseball, tailor-made. I just don't want to see a change. I don't want to see sponsorship on the walls. I don't want to see drones. When I saw drones, I got sick.
That would be. I mean, football, it's hard to do because you only get, you got your 8 home games and you want to sell out your, seats. Whereas baseball, you can kind of, I don't want to say throw a game away fan-wise, but you have that availability. And then obviously it got its, the biggest ratings in 20 years for MLB regular season game.
Yeah. I really liked it when the players, even the Yankees, 99 was almost as big as those what do they call them? Corn sticks, corn stalls? What are they called, Lola? Corn husk, what is it?
Those are stalks.
Stalks, that's it. He's almost as tall. I mean, that's tall. Those stalks are tall if you could still see him below one. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah. That was seeing Kevin Costner come out of the, the corn and then play. That was really cool.
Oh, yeah. I'd love to come out of the cornfield, but I'd get lost. Even if I had GPS. Now make a left.
That's
make a right. Yeah, okay, whatever. But that's a great thing baseball's put together. One of the highest rating shows ever. And people are still watching it again and again and again because MLB will milk it.
Oh, yeah. It's like the Winter Classic for hockey.
Oh, yeah. That's right. Well, that used to be good because that was one game a year. Now they got, 3 or 4?
Yeah, they got 3 now. Every couple of years they mix in 3. I mean, for me, I would love it. I was saying that if you want to do something for, Wheeling, I was saying you move the stadium outdoor to the football field on a Wheeling Island would be really cool.
Ooh, that's a great idea. I think I'll use it and take credit for it.
You can use it.
No. That's a good idea, though. That's a great idea.
And do something like that. Do something outdoor there.
Have it in the middle of whatever your All-Star game is.
Yes.
Where's your All-Star game this year?
I don't know where this year's All-Star game is.
Why don't you? You're the coach of a team.
I got bigger fish to fry than to worry about that right now.
Okay, what fish are you frying right now? Are you stockpiling good athletes?
Stockpiling athletes. I got to be worried about how much money DJ's spending in Vegas.
I'll tell you right now, $23 a day per diem. That's all he's spending. Oh, God. Let's go over the Oldest calendar, okay?
Yes.
All right, I know you're a Yankee fan.
Yep.
I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but on this date, the greatest ball player ever? I think so. Baseball Hall of Famer in 1948 on this date, Babe Ruth. George Herman Babe Ruth died at the age of 53. I thought he was older till I read this morning.
That's crazy. That's what I would have guessed. I would have guessed that too, especially when you see the old tapes of how frail he looked by the end.
Yeah, well, if you look at a lot of team pictures of the players in the 20s and 30s, a lot of those guys were in their 20s and 30s, and they looked old.
Yeah. Yeah.
You didn't see anybody. You didn't see anybody with a shaved head.
No. They and you look too. They had a lot of heart and grit in those days. I feel like. You had to get through a lot. I mean, anyone who's able to get through World War One and then get through World War II, you've seen some stuff.
Well, you know, my Red Sox would have had a few more World Series championships if Uncle Sam didn't take Ted Williams away for 5 years. You know that, don't you?
I'm not going to speak to it one way or another, but obviously one heck of a ball player.
Yeah. And there was once a talk about trading Joe DiMaggio for Ted Williams. I don't know.
Wow.
I don't know as a Red Sox guy if I like that. Because Teddy Ballgame was what, a lefty? And he put quite a few in that short right field. Well, you know, if you put him in Yankee Stadium, you had a short right field. So,
true.
I don't know. But Joe DiMaggio would have played with his brother, Dominic DiMaggio, in Boston if he got traded. That would have
been cool then.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, some good stuff there. Well, the Yankees the Yankees are playing tonight against the Angels, so the Red Sox won't see Garrett Cole because he's pitching tonight.
Yes, well, it'll be it's a big series, that's for sure.
All right, you know there's going to be a split. You hardly ever see teams win doubleheaders.
No, you don't. It's always even when you play the Orioles, it's hard to win them both.
Oh, I feel sorry.
No, you're not then.
Oh, the Orioles. Ugh. Or Arizona. But you know what? On any given night, if you're the Arizona D-backs, your pitcher might make his first start in Major League Baseball and throw a no-hitter like that kid did.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, great stuff. Great stuff. All right, let's see what else here we can throw at you. All right. By the way, if your Yankees sweep the Red Sox, I'm going to find a way of buying the team and your ass is gone. Okay?
I certainly hope then they don't.
No. It's, may the best team win. It's baseball. Yeah. These guys get paid a lot of money whether they win or lose. Hey, were you a big fan of Daniel Boone, Davy Crockett?
I mean, I certainly like the stories of that, growing up, and then now, my son is named Boone, not particularly after Daniel Boone, but happy accident.
Whoa! Wait, let's go back a little bit. Let's rewind. You named your kid Boone Army?
Boone Army.
What kind of dad would make that statement? Oh, it was your wife that said, "Let's name him Boone," and you said, "Yes, whatever you say, darling." Okay.
We were watching the Blue Jackets during the bubble, and we saw Boone Center, and we were like, "That's a great name," and so we went. His name's actually Boone Sanderson Army, so Sanderson named after Derek Sanderson.
One of my favorites in Boston. You talk about a crazy guy. He was nuts.
Yes. So I'm Derek for Derek Sanderson, and so we figured we'd continue that pattern.
It's like I had the president of Pony League Baseball, right? His name is Abe Key. Abe after Lincoln, and he named his son Lincoln Key.
There you go.
How do you like that?
I like that. I mean, I can say Derek Sanderson. I've been, as I grew up, started reading more and watching more, and what a sports figure, that's for sure.
Oh, yeah. And, he's one of the guys along with Wayne Cashman. I know I'm throwing names out you may not recognize. Johnny Busick, okay? Even Phil Esposito. And I knew his brother Tony because I used to interview him when he was the GM of the Penguins, a long time ago.
Yeah.
And, if somebody touched Bobby Orr, you had about 4 or 5 guys that are going to knock your teeth out.
Yes, you don't touch Bobby Orr.
Yeah, that's like one of our regular callers, Jay Caulfield. He looks mean. He is bad. And if you touched Mario Lemieux, you knew who was coming on the ice to kick your butt.
100%. You need those guys.
Just like Davey Schultz. If you touch Bobby Clark, I'm going to come by and kill you and your family.
The hammer could do it all.
All right. You're a Patriots fan, right?
I mean, I root for him, so my wife and I have a happy house. I wouldn't say that's my allegiance.
All right. Well, Frank Gifford, who broadcast quite a few Patriots games, he was a pretty good New York Giant football player, pro football and college football Hall of Famer, went to Southern California, did a lot of Monday night games. He's the husband of Kathy Lee Gifford. I wanted to marry her, too. Frank, why'd you take her from me? He would have been celebrating a birthday today, but he passed away in 2015. He was born on this date in 1930. I did one game in Boston. Who was it? They ripped the Patriots. I think it was a Monday night game, and I was the stat man. So I got to go into the booth with Howard Cosell, Frank Gifford. That was cool stuff. And they paid me $75, which back then in the early 70s was a lot of money. So,
Wow.
you know.
That's awesome. That's a story right there.
I should write a book, Derek.
You should indeed. You should make it. Make sure you tell the one about when you went and you stood on the desk and got your money. That one is one of my favorites.
What one was that?
The one you said they didn't pay you. They hadn't paid you. So you took a train all the way there.
No. That was ABC Sports. Lee Tomlin was my manager in Pittsburgh, and he owed me for 6 months freelance, which was about $900 working weekends, right? I would call him. He said, the check's in the mail. And I said, sir, don't give me that bull crap. I said something else. So I said, I've had it. Well, his station had to go through WINS ABC in New York to cut the check. I flew to New York, went to the operations manager. I snuck through the security part. I went to his office, sat on his desk. He said, who are you? He said, I'm going to tell you, and I'm going to tell you why I'm here. He said, you flew up here to get money from us? And I said, I'm not leaving. He says, well, I'll call the police. So the phone's right there. I picked up the phone, handed it to him. I said, go ahead. I'll tell him I've been robbed. In 10 minutes, I got my check for $9-something.
That's awesome.
I had that attitude back then. Now I just nod my head and agree with everybody.
That's fun. Well, that's something only like Fletch would do. It. Chevy Chase is Fletch. He would only do that.
All right. Did you see the movie Titanic? The Terminator.
I did see the movie Titanic. Yes.
Terminator 2. Judgment Day.
Yes.
Aliens. All right. The director was James Cameron. You want to guess how old he is today?
Guess 64.
Ooh, you're close, my man. 66.
Ooh.
You got a beer coming at River City.
Once I get back, you better keep it nice and cold for me.
You drink beer?
You know, I dabble.
You know who'd like to have a beer with you?
Who?
The president of the Detroit Red Wings fan club in Ohio Valley, Lola.
I'd love to have a beer with Lola.
Oh, you'd rather have a beer with her than me first, right?
Whoa.
Oh, I see where this is going.
That's
Maybe all
funny.
three of us can have a beer.
I'd like that.
Yeah. All right, Madonna. You like her? Material Girl, Like a Virgin, Dick Tracy?
I mean, I think A-Rod dated her for a stretch, so, I mean, different, but sure, she had some good music.
Yeah, she's suing him for a lot of money. I bet she gets a lot of money.
Wait, she's suing him?
There's something about, they're not together anymore, and there's something wrong with whatever when they were married or something.
Ooh.
Yeah, her real name is Madonna Louise Veronica Jacone.
Oh, wow.
You know? She was also in a League of Their Own. All right.
Yes, she was.
Yeah. By the way, that stadium in Evansville, the Wild Things play Evansville in that stadium where the movie was made, A League of Their Own. And you tell your hockey players this after a loss, right? There's no crying in hockey.
No crying in hockey. Keep your tears.
All right. How old is Madonna today? Within 2 years?
Hurry
up. We got music playing.
62.
52?
Yeah.
Okay, what's 5 from 11? 6? 5? She's 52 today. That's 2 beers I owe you.
I like that.
All right, talk to you real soon.
Thanks, Bill. Bye, Lola.
Oh. That'll be cool. Army, Bill, and Lola having a beer, or 2, or 3, or 4. I'm out of here. I'm going home.